and a handshake in shoes there, and we're all set for a start here in the Division 3 first semi-final between Mitcham and Boronia, and we're underway in the middle. Coming through, Jess Moore for Boronia tries to barrage his way through off the square, but to no avail, and the umpire calls for a ball up. There are umpires this afternoon in the Division 3 first semi-final. I think it's Jason Herman out there at the moment as the ball goes forward here for the Tigers. The Hawks, though, pick it up from half-back, and they'll look for touch more than anything else. The ball will just trickle out of bounds right in front of Scott Homewood in the Mitcham coaching box out there. It'll be tossed back in.
Very interesting to see already, Dave. Dean Grice has gone straight to Jared Whitnish, trying to get a one-on-one playing wide of each other, but Cam Taylor's trying to pick up Grice there, so it's almost a two-on-one on Dean Grice at the moment.
That's a win for Boronia straight away.
Boundary throwing occurs now. Jason Herman pulling out a free kick here, and it will go the way of the Tigers, and they'll move it on quickly. Julian Petrarca is the recipient. He goes long inside, forward 50. The Pigs at the back couldn't quite take the mark here. Mitcham now try to dribble this one forward to no avail. Picking the Taros over the top of that one, and we will see a ball up 30 metres out from Mitcham's goal.
Yeah, look, I think this is where maybe Lucas Marrow could have been really, really handy at Mitcham. Not playing today, but I reckon that's where he's perfect in that small forward role.
As we mentioned a number of times, Whitnish and Grice matching up on each other, and both of those players on top of that pack. And another ball up will occur. About 30 metres out from the Tigers' goal. Heading towards the Tarara Road. Pym just grabs it out of the ruck, kicks towards goal. It's just off to the right-hand side. Stephen Pym, the leading goal kicker in Division 3 this year, almost kicking his 70th for the season. But it's gone through for a minor score. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, we've played 1.5 minutes, and it's Mitcham one behind, Boronia yet to score.
So it'll be Bolton, plays it to himself. Runs into the back pocket for Boronia, drives it out of that defensive zone up towards the wing position. It was a good fly and an almost effort mark by Mark Williams, but it trickled over the boundary line on his third touch of the ball, and we'll have a boundary throw in. We've gone 1.5 minutes here in the first term. First score on the board to the Tigers as the umpire throws it in. No clear winner in this one as Goldsmith took it from the throw-in. He was wrapped up in a tackle and we'll have a bounce.
And you can see the tactics already of Boronia. You have 34 players basically in Mitcham's half of the ground.
Well, Goldsmith went up against Melder. Melder over the back, got the knockout picked up there by Dean Grice. He got a little handball over the top, and now Boronia might be able to settle and kick towards the wing position. It's a one-on-one, it's 1-on-3 situation. Heath takes the mark, and he would have received a free kick as well. Swings around on the right boot, inside forward 50. He's out Luke Allison all by himself, and he takes the mark 45 metres out directly in front, and he made good positioning running down because Jason Heath was the main player, the only player who was moved up to the wing, so everyone was in front of him. As now Allison comes in, he wants the first goal on the board, but he pushes it to the right-hand side. Perhaps he rushed it a little bit too much. So on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, as we cross the 2.5 minute mark, it is all square, one behind each.
Luke Allison made really good position there. Ran actually from centre-half back to create that open space for Boronia to try and hit that target. Just unable to finish off with a goal, but this shows that work rate that Boronia are going to be prepared to go with today to try and hurt Mitcham on that slingshot rebound.
You don't see Luke Allison in the forward line for Boronia too often, but he was able to make some good space there as a big kick out from the Tigers lands in the arms here of Daniel Tercerelli. He goes inside forward 50. He was looking for Pignataro, but went over the pig's head, and Brainbridge will be the recipient of a free kick here as it went out of bounds on the full. He's 40 metres out from his defensive goal.
And here they go with their double switch.
Luke Leeson marks almost in his defensive goal square. He'll go over the top of the dangerous kick. It's a really poor kick in the end. It almost held up in the breeze. And the bald one, Steve Pym, marks directly in front, 30 metres out from goal.
How often did we see that last week, Davo, in that one Turner South game where Boronia tried to switch coming out of defence. Poor kick and was chopped off by the opposition.
Look, I agree with their switching, but the difference is that if you're going to switch the footy, you've got to switch at 30 to 40 metres. You can't do 15-metre kicks inside like that. And this happened twice last week to get Wani South back on top.
Pym misses to the right-hand side, through for a minor score. He's got Mitcham's opening two behinds here at the Vermont Recreation Reserve. Mitcham 2 behinds, Boronia 1 behind. We've played 4 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
And the switch was actually on then as well. It was just a disposal that let them down.
Exactly, and I think Pym thought he kicked that.
He did. He's just completing with the field umpire to overrule the goal umpire then.
Well, once again, Bolton plays it to himself, drives the ball out to the far side of Tarara Road, and the mark has been taken out there strongly by Morris. So most players are ahead of him here. So an action-packed forward line for the Mitcham Football Club as he kicks it towards the Pym direction. Got down low, couldn't quite take the mark. It was nicely picked up there by Rutherford. Got the little handball back. That was okay. Williams now on the right boot, drives it out. I don't know where he was going there. Players screaming for deliberate. I don't think the umpire's going to pay that at the 4-minute mark of the first term. And over the boundary line she goes. So 1 point the margin here early in the first term. Happy Father's Day to all our fathers out there and everyone who's out here for a ripper game of Division 3 football.
Thanks, Ben.
Well, we've got a couple of us on board here today. The young'uns are sitting in the front seat. Happy to call myself a young'un this afternoon as the umpire throws it in on hands of East. Hardy got the little handball out, and that was nicely done by Boronia to kick it up towards the Heath direction. The kick wasn't too good, but his second effort was fantastic. The ball eventually scoots out towards Halstead Wild, and he trickled over the boundary line and out of bounds, far side of the ground, Vermont Recreation Reserve.
Braden Ingram, some early stats that matter, thanks to Choose Tap.
Hit-outs 5-3 in favour of Boronia and clearances 2-0 in favour of Mitcham.
So boundary throw and Leclerc on that other side. The Tigers look to bring it in. Here's Renato Nunziato. He received a high free kick, and he'll be the recipient of that in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. But there's all players bar two are in front of him at the moment. So Nunziato goes up towards centre half for the kick. Lands straight in the arms of the Hawks, and they're off and running on the outer side. They've got a bit of space. Here's Lockie Watson on the members' side here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. He can get and go. He swings on the left boot and goes inside 50 looking for Jason Heath. Got a very unkind off break on that occasion, and Mitcham will look to clean up here from their half back line. The kick goes out wide. Oh, a big bump there on Bazinskis. He got straight back up to his feet on that occasion, Bazinskis, and the ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds. Just below us here in the commentary position. Mitcham 2 behind, Boronia 1 behind, early stages in this Division 3 Choose Tap first semi-final. Boundary throw-in occurs now. Comes down to the Tigers, though. Halstead Wild, a high kick up towards the half-forward line, but a strong mark taken by the Hawks on that occasion. Their skipper, Paddy Garrity. Garrity moves it on quite quickly out wide. Jess Bolton needs an accommodating bounce. He paddled it in front of himself, and he gets now. He goes inboard to his skipper, not his skipper, his legend in Dean Grice. And Grice got a bit of a high tackle on that occasion. And umpire Tom Winlow says that will be a free kick going the way of Grice. Edge of the centre square here at Vermont.
Boronia are trying to break quickly from defence, but their skills are just letting them down most times. This time they might get away.
Well, they might, because on the other side here is Rutherford. He chips it over the top to dangerous kick, but Ben Van Dort is there at the right time. He marks 70 metres out from goal. Plenty of Tigers back in defence, though. He'll be called to play on now. Ben Van Dort goes long inside, forward 50. Heath was there, comes to ground. No one able to quite take it cleanly, though, for either side. Searle for Mitcham picks it up now at left half back. His left foot kick up towards the half forward line. Might be chopped off here by Garrity. In fact, it is. Garrity did it well. Got a hand pass over the top to Leeson. They work in tandem. The now left foot kick comes inboard towards the middle of the ground. It's a good kick. Mark Williams dropped what he should have taken. Expect him to take that, Mark Williams. He tries to make amends now. He feeds out a hand pass towards Leeson. The Hawks still with the numbers. They go back to go forward. That's a pretty errant hand pass, though, and Searle's away on that outer side.
And Searle swings around on the left boot. He kicks it up towards centre half forward, but it's nobody home there for the Tigers as Henderson comes in. He couldn't quite pick the ball up. Coming in for the Tigers there was Tercerelli. He couldn't quite pick it up either. Henderson goes after it again. Pat Garrity, the skipper, comes in to lend some support, gets the handball across, and now Boronia through Bolton will swing down the middle of the ground. It was a good kick too, and they've got the numbers, and the mark has been taken by Watson. Gets it back to Bolton on the left boot now, inside forward 50. That's a good kick towards the Heath direction. He had one bite, couldn't quite take it. Right on his hammer there was Johnson to lay the spoil. Quilty comes in to lend some support. So too does couple of teammates, but the boundary line beats all players, and we'll have a boundary throw in.
You can see Hardy just asking the boys to settle down a little bit. They're just a little bit too eager at the moment with the football. They've just got to steady it down, and they're too Heath-centric. They've got to find another option somewhere.
Well, it came straight into the arms of Rob Petrarca. He got the little handball away. A cute kick up towards the wing position. Might work out here for Mitcham, but a nice little fist away. Wright comes in from the boundary line. He was in position A. Squeezes a kick up towards centre half forward. It could be dangerous if it doesn't come off, and it might just be that. Miller trapped the ball, kicked it up towards centre half forward, coming out, streaming out and taking a mark. There is Pignataro. Kicks the ball inside forward 50. Who's going to be the target here? Pim. He might be able to get it on the second bite. Swings around on the right boot. Oh, this is an absolute ripper goal. Straight over the goal umpire's head for his first of the afternoon. And that's what we're after here. Kicking goals from 45 metres out on the turn. And he's a super player. Welcome back to the Mitcham side. Stephen Pym. 1 goal on the board, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they stretch their lead, the Boronia side. Well, they finally get it. Well, they do stretch their lead. It's a 7-point margin, Ben Waterworth.
Certainly is. Mitcham 1-2-8, Boronia 1 behind. They've got a bit of a setting up a bit of a celebration there, Davo. Stevie Pym.
Yes, he did. And look, again, a centering kick to a really no-win situation then from young Mitchy Wright, and they just go away. They've just got to be careful with their foot skills at the moment, Boronia. They're just turning the footy over to too many different easy positions.
Steve Pym really provides them with a bit of vigour and vitality down there as well. It really lifts them, and they look so much more damaging with the big focus point down there. Johnny Pignataro plays more of that lead up forward, but Pym is just so strong in the contest as well and great at ground level.
We'll cross down boundary side very shortly as the ball's back in the middle. Grice went up in the ruck, didn't go up in the ruck. He tried to get the crumbs off the ruck, but Whitnish was first to it. Right foot kick inside, forward 50. Pignataro tried to get rid of his man. They've got numbers here, the Tigers, if they can get, they can go in business. The centering kick here comes from Faulkner. Who's going to get there for the Hawks? It is that man in Jared Rutherford who marks in his defensive goal square, and he'll play on quickly on that outer side. He goes towards half back, and standing there is Seb Kolokides. Kolokides now goes out wide, and it looks like it's gone out of bounds on the full. Perfect time to go boundary side for the first time today to Corey Hall.
Yeah, thanks. Just a quick weather update. It's about 22 degrees at the moment. Sunny, set for a top of 25, so great conditions for footy, and the ground on top of that is in great conditions.
Thank you very much, Corey, doing his best Damien Watson impersonation in terms of weather report there as the ball goes inside 450, and Pym's going to get a free kick for a hold off the footy. The man...
Push out in the marking contest.
The eccentric man with a bald head and the yellow boots can go back and look to put through his second goal for the game.
And already I can see a problem having Rutherford on Pym. I think that's... He's too strong and a little bit too quick. I mean, if Paddy Garrity was a bit quicker, you'd put him across. But, you know, maybe that could be something done because I think Rutherford's being monstered at the moment.
Steve Pym kicked 70 goals for the season. This for goal number 71. The leader in the All Trophies Division 3 goal-kicking table. He kickers on its way. Dead eye straight from Steve Pym. And the Tigers have the early break here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. Vermont Mitcham go on to 2-2-14. Boronia are one behind, and we have played 11.5 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Braden Ingram, some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
Mitcham leading the inside 50s 8-4, and the clearance, the general clearance is 4-0.
It just showed then how worried they are about Steve Pym in that marking contest. He probably was never going to mark that in the middle of the pack situation, but the Boronia defenders were Pym conscious, pushed him out in the marking contest, so they've just got that concern and that worry in the back of their mind about him already.
12 minutes gone in the first term. Boronia get the clearance. It goes up towards the Bazinska direction and couldn't quite take the mark. I'm still jinxed in finals time for Boronia with that one as the ball's still inside the centre square. No one can get the clear handball over the top. Quilty eventually extracted it. Came out to cross. He arched the back, got the little handball over. David Searle was by himself. Sold some candy. Had time to steady up. Had time to go for goal, David Searle, and he slams it home. Fantastic goal by the Mitcham Football Club, and haven't they started well here in the qualifying final of the Division 3 game. Is that qualifying? First I knew it wasn't right. That's why I stumbled, and I was on a bit of a roll there too. But Mitcham, haven't they started well? Bendigo Bank scoreboard 3-2-20, one behind Boronia.
Yeah, look, I think that again it comes down to the fact that they've got so many options down the forward line. If you had a look then, Searle looked and could see 2 or 3 options. They might have been closed up, but then he had the confidence to go forward. Boronia are going forward. Heat's either getting the ball deep on the half-forward flank or leading into pockets, and that's where they're going to every time. So they've just got to find another avenue. I don't know if Williams has gone forward, but maybe he needs to go forward and give them another opportunity down there.
Oh, ball back in the middle here. The Hawks trying to get a clearance, but a nice smother allows the Tigers to go inside forward 50 here. Hogel's on a long lead. Does it sit? He made it sit with a beautiful gather on hands and knees, but coming through is the Foss Hardy. Nice little hand pass over the top to Moore, and Jess Moore will look to rebound off half-back. He weighs up his options. He gives a little cheeky hand pass through, and Bazinskis receives true centre-wing position here at Vermont. He goes inboard. Renato Nunziato stood in the way, was able to affect the spoil. Big tackle applied by Jason Heath right in front of our commentary position here at Vermont Recreation Reserve, and umpire Jacob Carroll will throw this one up. Boronia trailing this one by 19 points early. Great start for the Tigers. 2 to Pym, 1 to Searle. Wright almost got a free kick. In fact, it was Kolokides on that occasion. He's got the helmet on. Just probably, I think Kolokides got the helmet on more for sun protection more than anything else because he's balled underneath that at the moment. As the ball up occurs now, big tap forward there by Goldsmith. Umpire, non-officiating umpire Jason Herman has pulled out a free kick, and it will go the way of the Jordan Vaness, I think it is. So Vanessa in the long sleeves today. Very strange to be going with the long sleeves on a 25-degree day. He'll now look to go this one inside forward 50, but Renato Nunziato is standing in the hole. It goes in that direction. A big flow will come from behind, but there is Renato. Couldn't quite take the mark, though. On hands and knees. McKernan was there, but it will be brought away here by the Tigers. Kick comes out here for Mitcham, and it's been marked by Pignataro on true centering position. It goes up towards the half-forward line, but Boronia have the numbers at the back here. The left foot kick comes inboard. It's a good kick to big Goldsmith. Goldsmith Marks plays on very, very quickly. Gets it off to Hardy. He balks one, the 41-year-old, then gets a hand pass back to Bazinskis. He tries to barrage his way through, almost holding the ball, is holding the ball. Umpire Jason Herman pays a free kick, and it will go the way of Whitnich. It's Mitcham by 19 points at Vermont Recreation Reserve.
Nunziato's in a bit of trouble behind play, actually. Got felled off the ball, and he's not looking too well out there as well, being dealt with by the trainers at the moment.
Well, the ball's been picked up here by Williams, and he drives it up towards the centre-half forward, the Bolton direction there. A nice little fist away over the boundary line by Aaron Miller, over the boundary line and out of bounds. Speaking of the boundary, let's head down boundary side, thanks to Akira Urgent Care, Corey Hall.
Or Gav Casey.
Gav here, and Nunziato, it looks like he got a finger in the eye, so it's more like just an errant hand got into his eye there. So he's just sort of brushing himself off now.
Could find out who's wearing number 40 for Mitcham too, Gav. That would be fantastic. As the little handball comes out towards the Moore direction. Inside forward 50, nobody's home. Miller will be the first one to meet this. He got it on the first bounce, kicked it out towards the wing position. A big fly over the back there by Whitnish. Well, there was a big fly over him, and he stayed on the ground and took the mark. The umpire said there was a little bit of a shove out, so Paddy Garrity on the right boot inside. He spots up a target there in McKernan. So they need to create the switch here more. It was a target in the middle of the ground. No one really wants to go after it. Also, Nunziato got boot to ball and kicked it up towards the half-forward line. Pim over the top. He set sail for goal from 60 metres. This is bouncing, and it did a leg break at the last moment and went through for one behind. So the potential for scoring inside the centre square is aplenty this afternoon. Big kicks on goal, and Boronia are still trailing this match. They're struggling. They're one behind. Mitcham having all the scoring on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They are 3-3-21.
Two goals, 3 for Steve Pym so far. Big fly from Williams at half back there. Received the hand pass now from Hardy. He gets a little hand pass over the top to Colakides. The former Montrose boy now goes in towards the half forward line. It's a great kick as well. Spotted up Mitch Wright. His fellow helmeted one. Wright now has to move it quickly, but Mitcham have got plenty of numbers back. They're nice and organised down back at the moment. Wright goes short. Good smart footy though from that young man. He found Bazinskis 45 metres out from goal, and he will line up and have a shot.
That's what they have to be. They've got to be patient, because if you just watch then, Heath went back, Mitcham dropped the player in between Heath and the football, and they were looking for him, and they've just got to allow for these short passes to come in, because they've got plenty of players that can get in the right spots.
Bazinskis kicks from right on 50 metres. It looks a little right off the boot. It swung back very late, but not enough, and it goes through for another minus score. Boronia 2 behinds, Mitcham 3-3-21, 17 minutes gone, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, it just looks like Boronia are struggling for their structure at the moment. They just seem to be at 6s and 7s all over the ground, whereas Mitcham have got into the rhythm pretty quickly.
So Johnson drives the ball out of the defensive 50. Hardy was the player there for Boronia. He got a handle on it. The ball spills out towards the McKernan direction and trickles over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Braden Ingram, some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
Hit outs Boronia 9-7, leading Mitcham. Inside 50s 11-7, Mitcham leading those, and effective tackles 7-3, Mitcham leading those also.
So just waiting on the umpire to bring the ball back in. We might have a blood rule on our hands here. No doubt our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders will be right on top of that, as
I think it
couple
could
of
be
players.
Paddy Garrity could be one of them, I think.
So there's been a double change, and we
Hardy's got a massive gash in the right eye.
have a 26
Garrity.
coming on as well. So Garrity.
I think Garrity hit, I think Hardy and Garrity clashed in that marking duel a moment ago.
So you can't really say anything about that, can you? You can't tell your coach off. He'll just hopefully get strapped up, and he'll be back under away as the umpire throws it in. Coming in from the side, Higginson, he got the knock down, but to no avail as Jess Bolton tried to break away from a tackle. Half forward line now for the Boronia Football Club. They haven't kicked a major. Mitcham have had all the scoring in this term, and we've almost reached time on in this game as well. As Higginson, he got the knockdown. A lot of plays around this ball, picked up by Dean Grice, got the little handball away, a 2-on-1 situation. Jason Heath has got to stand up strong here. He got the fist away. Who's front and centre? Nobody. Henderson comes in for Boronia to lay a tackle, and we'll have a bounce just inside the centre square, almost centre half forward for Boronia.
This is where whoever's on Miller has to become dangerous, because Miller's just standing in front by himself, so whoever's on him has got to go push wide, become dangerous, and become an option.
Well, Goldsmith got the kick from the stoppage into the middle of the ground. Now Boronia will have a chance up towards the centre half forward. The kick goes on. Batchelor came across and took a nice mark too. Swing around now on the left boot. Kick up towards the half forward line over the top of Wright's head, and it was an absolute beauty too, because coming out in front was Pignataro. Pim screaming for it up forward. He went for the opposition and kicked it inside forward 50. And a lovely fist away there by Mark Williams. It went every bit of 20 metres. just for the safety of one behind. So they keep putting the score on the board. The Mitcham Tigers 3-4-22 they are. It's a 20-point lead in the first quarter as we reach time on, and Boronia Football Club are 2 behinds.
And that's again where I like to see Mitcham. They had the opportunity to go then to pin, didn't choose it, went longer, and it sets up. It makes defenders really nervous when the ball's within 30 metres.
Showed some smart play there from Steve Pym as well. Could see Mark Williams was going to try and punch it through to the goal. So instead of going to the contest, went to the goal line to try and intercept the thump that went forward. So just smart play and always thinking as a forward.
Van Dort kicks it out towards the half-forward line. Going in hard there was Glossop, and he might have turned this one over. Vanessa and Watson combined. Now off to McKernan. He goes up towards the half-forward line. Bazinskis needs a kind bounce. Did not get one at all. Never did Dean Grice. But Boronia still have an opportunity inside 450. The kick comes out towards Hardy. The 41-year-old now just ran out of room. Glossop corrals him over the line, and it'll be tossed back in 30 metres out from goal.
You've got to respect Mark Hardy. 393rd EFL game this afternoon, and still going around well at 41, going 42 in a couple of weeks' time.
Only man with more games under his belt is Brett Davidson here in our coaching box with over 500 games as coach, as Mitcham on the last line of defence now go up towards their half-back line. Pick Nataras in the defensive 50. What is the pick doing there? He picks it up now. Nicely corralled by Mitch Wright, and it goes over the line and out of bounds right in front of the Boronia coach's box. Let's go boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, just quickly, Baronia's already got 20 substitutions. Mitcham's on 14. It looks like it's going to be a high substitution game.
Substitution. We're in the NBA at the moment with Corey Hall as the ball comes to ground now, as Glossop now from the boundary throw-in is immediately wrapped up, and umpire Tom Winlow says, give it to me, gentlemen. We'll see a ball up edge of the centre square of Vermont Recreation Reserve. Mitcham 22 leading Boronia 2. It's a 20-point ball game, 21 minutes gone, as Halstead Wild is beautifully wrapped up in his defensive 50 and called for holding the ball. The perfectly executed tackle from Lockie McKernan, and he can go back from about 50 metres out and look to put through Boronia's first.
He's a little bit stiff then, I think. Look, I think probably his problem was he took that extra step when he had the football, but it was an excellent tackle.
McKernan plays on quickly. Lockie Watson's let out very nicely, and he takes the mark 30 metres out. 45-degree angle. He'll look to go back and put through his feet. Let's quickly cross back down to Causa thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Jeez, looks like Ben Waterworth's just come down to Fort Pocket a little bit here.
Corey Hall, stand-up comedian here at Vermont Recreation Reserve this afternoon. It's a $13 entry fee. As Lachlan Watson comes in now, and he shanked it off the boot. That's not a Ben Waterworth kick, Corey. That's gone through for a minor score. 3 behinds are Boronia. Mitcham are 3-4-22, and we've played 22 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Davo, what are your thoughts on that? When you've got a player having a set shot within 50 metres but passes it off, and some of their foot skills have let them down this afternoon, would you rather see that bloke go back and have that set shot himself rather than passing it off?
Look, I probably would, but in this situation with Boronia, I was quite happy that they did that because he got plenty of space, and they're, again, looking for someone else except for Heath, which was good.
Well, Boronia have it across the half-forward line. They might even get a shot on goal here. 45 metres out, the kick goes on wood and through for one behind. Never looked good off the boot. The Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they're peppering the goals, but they can't find the big sticks at the moment. The Boronia Football Club, they're trailing by 18 points. 4 behinds, plays 22. As Mitcham wastes no time as a 75, 80-metre kick goes out. Long out towards the wing position. Who's going to come in here? Was Faulkner intended. Boronia have the numbers, been picked up there by Mark Hardy. He was dispossessed with the football, but still Boronia with the numbers. Have got the short pass on, and it goes up towards the Van Dort direction, but cutting across in front of him was Josh Ellison. Got the little handball away, but the umpire said you've got to go back over your mark as he kicks inside the forward 50. Once again, it's a 2-on-1 situation on Heath. He's going to be up against it all afternoon if they're going to keep that up and only go to him, Brett Davidson.
Oh, look, and they've just got to lower their eyes, and they've got somebody else who's got to push sideways to allow them to just create a different option because it's becoming far too predictable at the moment.
Well, the ball from the stoppage scrambled up in towards the middle of the ground. Coming in quite hard there was Faulkner. Couldn't quite pick it up. Jess Moore came in to lend support for Boronia. He received a free kick and he was going backwards to set the play up, but the umpire said he'd come back and have a kick inside forward 50, and he goes that way now, and coming out and taking a strong mark for Boronia there is Luke McKernan. Lockie McKernan, I should say, as he comes inside forward 50. Henderson, good jukes, 50 metres out from goal. He looks confident that he'll go back and quite easily make the distance here, and this is a very important kick for Boronia.
So far, inside 50 marks, 4 to Boronia, have only kicked 3 behinds from those set shots at the moment from those marks. This is the opportunity now to get their first goal from a set shot.
That was better though, Davo, because he lowered his eyes and hit Henderson rather than looking for Heath.
Exactly.
So Henderson comes in, he's kicked 6 goals for the season. This would be a handy one, and he floats it straight through the middle. Fantastic kick there by by Ryan Henderson, and he kicks his first. That is Boronia's first, and a handy one at that at the 25-minute mark of the first term, reducing the margin back to only 2 straight kicks. Mitcham are 3-4-22 and Boronia 1-4-10.
And again, what you could see there was the fact that as soon as the player had the ball down the ground, all the Mitcham players flooded back to guard the spaces and look at Heath. And he was able to lead forward and get the easy mark. And even if he didn't kick it, I would have liked to have seen Williams run around the outside of him, get the handball, and just do something a bit different at the moment.
So ball back in the middle as umpire Tom Winlow calls for another ball up. Just make sure you keep your radio dial locked on 98.1 because we'll have around the ground scores from, of course, the elimination final Division 1 Norwood and South Court, and that is a massive, massive game, as well as South Belgrave and Ferntree Gully in the second semi-final in Division 4. The ball's made its way up towards the half-forward line here for Mitcham. Morris went in hard, dribbled a little left foot ball over the top. Clever little tap out from Searle. Found that man in Tercerelli, round the body, the kick towards the top of the goal square. Free kick's going to be paid here to the Hawks for a hold, and umpire Jacob Carroll was all over that one. The Hawks will receive a free kick through Rutherford. That one's against Pinney on that occasion.
Rutherford's getting it. He might be passing it to Bolton, I think. Or Bolton to Bazinka, back to Bolton.
There you go. So Bolton will now rebound off half-back. He's a very, very fine player off half-back, Jess Bolton, and he goes up towards true centre-wing position. McKernan was there, but just fell into the arms of Ben Morris in the end. A strong mark right in front of that Bendigo Bank scoreboard, which sees Mitcham leading this one by 2 straight kicks. Morris goes towards true centre half forward. A big pack forms here. Garrity's at the fall of it though, with the headband now. Garrity, beautiful little hand pass over the top to Williams. Williams now goes up towards the half forward line. The kick needs to be good for Heath. He paddled it in front of himself, then did well, the big man, to keep it, and they got a little hand pass over the top to Colakides. Colakides gives the don't argue, and got a little hand pass over the top. Trying to work his way through traffic there was young Jordan Begg. He's brought down, umpire said play on. Boronia still with the numbers here, and they'll look to try and force the ball up at the edge of the centre square at true centre half forward, and it is the Tigers leading this one by 12 points.
That was great defensive tackling work then from the Tigers. They looked like they were always going to be on the back foot, but their tackling created the turnover, and yeah, they'd be very happy with the ball up here.
They were very aware that Boronia liked to bring the ball around the wings and centre that to centre half forward, and they actually had numbers there waiting for that kick there. And Jason Heath automatically turned onto the boot to put it back into that hot spot at centre half forward, but that's where the Tigers had accumulated numbers and were able to lay that tackle, force that turnover and stoppage.
We've got another blood rule coming on, another Boronia player coming off here. Perfect time to head to Braden Ingram, all thanks to the Yarra Valley Water B Smart Choose Tap with some important stats.
Mitcham doing very nicely in the clearances, winning them 9-3. The inside 50s winning them 14-12. The effective tackles, they're on top as well, 12-7.
Right work, Braden, as we reassess now, and umpire Jason Herman, who umpired the Division 1 Grand Final last year. And, of course, his dad, Phil, umpired his final game after 500-plus EFL games last week right here at Vermont, the Vermont Blackburn game. As ball comes to ground now, we'll see another ball up. It's gone 10 metres further forward for the Tigers. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care Causa.
Yeah, just quickly, that blood rule was Jess Bolton. He's just got a bit of a blood nose, but he'll be back on soon.
By throws it up. Melder got a good knock on that one. Picked up by Dean Grice. He bangs it on his boot inside forward 50 towards the Heath direction. Nobody's home. Aaron Miller stood in the right position and took a good mark on his chest. That ball went as high as it went long. Miller through the middle of the ground. He spots up his captain there in Quilty, gets a little handball off, and now the Tigers are away. Nice. Bursting through the middle there for the Tigers is Cross on the right boot inside forward 50. They've got big targets up forward, nearly almost pulling into one mark. Pignatara got a little handball over the top. Allison comes in and he cools the cucumber under pressure, gets a kick out towards the wing position. It was nicely picked up there top by Jordan Begg, but the siren beats all players, and we have a score at quarter time, which is a 2-goal lead to the Mitcham Football Club. Didn't they start well with the first 3 goals in the first term? Boronia came back and peppered the goals and scored one late. At quarter time, the score here in the semi-final in Division 3, Choose Tap final, Mitcham 3-4-22, Boronia 1-4-10.
And Stephen Pinn back from suspension this week. He kicked 2, but he's actually got 2 goals. Look-alike today, just with the sunglasses and strutting around. He's pretty confident at the moment, but magnificent stuff from the boys downstairs. Davo and Frosty, are we expecting to see Boronia come back a little bit in this term?
Look, I thought they held sway a little bit in the last 10 minutes of that quarter, so hopefully they'll continue it on.
Umpire Tom Winlow holds the ball aloft, and we're underway in the second term, the Division 3 first semi-final. First blood to Mitcham here as they go inside forward 50, trying to pick the ball up for the Hawks there in defence. They might win themselves a free kick. They will, a true centre half back. And we'll go the way of Bainbridge. Bainbridge now will go with a left foot ball out wide. It's a good kick as well. Ben Van Dort takes the mark, plays on pretty quickly, looks for Henderson out of the side, and Ryan Henderson takes the mark 80 metres out from his own goal. He kicked Boronia's only goal in that first term. He wheels around and goes inside 50. Heath on the lead, and he sticks the Dukes up, takes a strong mark. He'll kick from about 30 metres out on the wrong side for a left footer though.
Now, Lockie McKernan's actually the man there. I was just watching who's Aaron Miller's man. What he actually did was he went to centre-half forward, then actually drew Miller away from that hole in front of Heath, which let Heath have that clear lead out to the ball carrier then. So a bit smarter then from Lockie McKernan.
He's got to do it all the time.
So Heath on its way. The kick is just off to the left and it's through for a minor score. So Boronia 1-5-11, Mitcham 3-4-22, and we've played 1 minute here on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. A score from Jubilee Park. Norwood 5-3-33 leads South Croydon 3-2-20 at quarter time.
So it'll be Johnson to bring the ball back in for the Tigers. He kicks it up towards the true centre-half back position. That was nicely marked by Cross, and now the Tigers are away. Going straight down the line, finds Pignataro, takes a mark almost in the centre square. He winds around on the right boot, kicks it inside forward 50. Pim might get this on the first bounce. He does so. He has to shrug a tackle. That was a ripper one by Pat Garrity. The ball spills free. Opportunity for Julian Petrarca, who squeezes the kick across the face of goal, and it goes out of bounds on the full. He wasn't in the greatest spot for a left footer, so a little bit of let off there for Boronia. Also,
that was a really good set play, the way they brought that out of defence and that well structured.
So the kick now for the Hawks goes out to the far side of the ground. Heath on the second bite takes a good mark, but he's a long way from goal. Gets a handball over to Goldsmith, put him under an enormous amount of pressure, and he's quickly wrapped up in a tackle, and will have a bounce centre half forward for the Mitcham Football Club.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want Heath up there taking marks.
The umpire throws it up inside forward 50, went through the arms of Allison. Going after it there was Rob Petrarca. He picked the ball up. He was wrapped up in a tackle. The umpire said we'll have another bounce 45 metres out from the Tigers goal line.
Just around the grounds, repeating those scores. Norwood by 13 points at quarter time over South Croydon, and it is, of course, Fenry Gully by 15 over South Belgrave.
Well, the ball was picked up by Pat Garrity on the stoppage, got it across to Van Dort. He got a little handball away, but there's a lot of players around this football. It's not easy to get a clear possession, and we'll have a bounce across the half-forward line.
So McKernan's been sucked into the contest again here, Davo, which has left his man free in defence to fill that hole once again. So just got to be smarter.
Yeah.
Good knockdown that time by Melder. Ball scoots out towards the wing position. Watson sees it over the boundary line and out of bounds.
See, Watson didn't even try and keep that in because he knew he had absolutely nobody in front of him in their forward line to go to if he had the footy.
Boronia keeping a lot of players behind the ball this afternoon, even with the breeze that they hold in this second term as the umpire throws it in. Melder had the front spot on McKernan. He got the quick knockdown. Petrarca of the Julian variety was rushed over the boundary line by Matty Bazinkas, and will have a boundary throwing.
You know, they're trying to play slingshot footy, but you've got to have the runners outside to do that, and they're not got them at the moment. So they just got to, you know, change up a little bit to not be so predictable with what they're doing.
Goldsmith cut across as a third man and got the knockdown as a kick for Mitcham up towards the half-forward line was marked by Pignataro, and the umpire said no advantage paid when a mark has been taken, and the ball's been screamed for by Faulkner across the half-forward line. That's ignored. There's a lot of players inside this forward 50 for the Mitcham Football Club, so Pignataro may as well go for home. He goes long to the top of the goal square, a big fly over the back by Pimmy, almost brought it down. Moore comes in to lend a hand, and he rushes it through for one behind. So on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, as we cross the 3-minute mark here in the second term, it's a 12-point lead to the Mitcham Football Club.
Bolton kicks to himself and goes right in front of our commentary box here with a kick, and it's taken by Dean Grice, an EFL legend. 3 league best and fairest to his name, and he's only 26 years old as he goes up towards the half-forward line. Beautifully chapped on here by Wright. He gets it off to Watson. This is going to be a very easy goal for the Hawks. Running in an open goal is Bazinskis. End-to-end footy down the wing, down the Aaron Bailey wing it should be. And a magnificent goal by Matt Bazinskis brings the Hawks back to within a goal. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 3-5-23 Mitcham, Boronia 2-5-17, 4 minutes gone, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
And that's slingshot footy. That's get the ball into one area, have a clear player running loose down forward line, get it to him quickly, and they did that very well. Whereas Pignataro got the ball up in Mitcham's forward line, went back, clogged forward line, just kicked it forward. Should have looked for a sideways pass, try and create a little bit of difference with the defence for Boronia.
Melder got the knockdown now into the arms of Henderson, who bangs it on his boot inside forward 50. Almost a mark there taken by Heath. He dropped the pill, but Mitcham steady in their approach, get it outside of that defensive zone. The kick goes out towards the Andreetta position. He couldn't quite take the mark. Coming in there for Boronia was that player in Seb Kolokides. He was rushed over the boundary line. The umpire said it was a little bit crude, so they moved the ball on quickly. Here's Bolton, kicks it to the hot spot, 25 metres out from goal. Heath from behind. That was good defensive forward play. Van Dort at the fall of the ball, got a little handball away. Mitcham, Heath nearly got fell on there. The umpire's seen it, and he'll take the free kick only about 20 metres out, if that, from directly in front of goal. And he'll go back and try and kick Boronia's third and to level the scores out here.
And look, and that's a fortuitous free kick that they got, but they had the ball, they had 3 outside runners free, and they've decided to go long. You know, they've just got to lower their eyes a bit more, and they'll become a lot more dangerous going forward.
Aaron Miller was in the hole again, stopped Heath marking.
31 goals for the season. Drop punt, go for a goal straight over the goal umpire's head and scores a level out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. This is a ripper semi-final in Division 3, and there's 23 apiece on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I think the other thing that's really interesting is that Whitnish is really ineffective at the moment, and Grice, while he hasn't done a lot of work, has done enough to say that he's winning on points. So they really need Whitnish to get involved in the game, and I don't think going one-on-one with Grice is the way to go.
Braden Ingram, some stats that matter, thanks to Yarra Valley Water. Be smart, choose tap.
The hit-outs, Mitcham leading 4-3, clearances 3 each, and at the moment the inside 50's 2 all as well. Pretty even to start the second term.
Jason Heath, big focal point for the Hawks, up forward, and he kicks goal number 32 for 2013. The Hawks are going to get a clearance here. Grice goes with the high ball up towards the half-forward line. The Tigers able to try and bring this one out, but Wright picks it up. He's a small man, Mitch Wright. His hand pass is intercepted, though. Quilty was held without it. Umpire Jacob Carroll said play on. He's now pulled out a free kick, and it's going to go the way of the Hawks. It will go the way of Dean Grice. He plays on quickly, fakes one and goes with the hand pass inboard. Hospital handball indeed. Put Bolton under a lot of pressure. He didn't really take them on. He was corralled by 3 Mitcham players in the end, and we'll see a ball up in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve.
He actually did that pretty well then to not get a free kick against him, but also stop the play that could have got free.
So, beautiful little fend off on that occasion by Rob Petrarca. Was able to get his hand pass free. Goes back to Quilty. Quilty's short ball over the top was pretty nice in the end. Mark taken here by Rob Petrarca, who was on the end of that one. So Rob Petrarca came into the side late this year on his 3rd game for the season. He goes out wide. The kick is okay. Halstead wild. Held it cleanly, uncontested. Marks true centre wing on the Vermont Recreation Reserve side.
Oh.
The kick was, it was looking for Searle. He pulled up a little bit proppy, and he's down behind play. It's allowed Bolton. He has to go for goal here. There's a Mitcham player in the goal square. Does it have the legs? It does have the legs. What a goal from Jess Bolton. End-to-end footy. And the Hawks hit the front for the first time on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Boronia are out by 1 goal, 4-5-29. Mitcham 3-5-23. We've played 7 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I think Mitcham are playing into Boronia's hands a little bit. They're not taking the game on the same way. They're playing with that same intent they showed early on in the game. If they slow their game plan up, it allows Boronia to get those numbers back and hit them on the slingshot, which is what they've done on those last 2 occasions. That's exactly what Boronia want to see Mitcham doing.
Yeah, look, they've just, I think they're a little bit shell-shocked at the moment, Mitcham.
Higginson won the tap out, but Hardy won the clearance, banged it on his boot on the left one up towards the half-forward line. Quilty went through his arms, but he had some support at the back of the pack. Mitcham kick was smothered. Boronia might get another go here. Watson now winds around on his left boot, bouncing football through for 1 behind. So on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it's they've stretched their lead, the Boronia Football Club. They lead it by 7 points now as we cross the 8-minute mark in the second term. Ripper game. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Nunziato had to work for that one, but got the handball away, kicking to the middle of the ground. Hardy had one bite for it, came in, Steve Pym, but busted his way through through a few tackles, got the handball out wide to Andreetta, who in turn got his little handball away, and now the Tigers move up towards the half-forward line. A good mark has been taken there by Faulkner. Why did he play on? He nearly put himself under a lot of pressure, although he did, and he put Andreetta under an equal amount of pressure. Gets it across to Batchelor, back to Pym. They're working backwards to go forwards. Now Faulkner bangs it on his boot inside forward 50. Who's going to be there, the flyer? No one. At the ball, Hardy left it for Rutherford. He got a little handball away. They've got numbers across the half-back line, and a clever kick finds Josh Ellison. 50 metres out from the Mitcham goals. It's a fast football as the kick goes on, finds leg. Just come on the ground.
Not quick enough. Needed the switch then, Davo.
Yeah.
Kick goes straight into the arms of Stephen Pym. He might be clever enough to... He nearly copped one too high too. Leg goes in after it again. Coming through was cross for Mitcham. He got wrapped up in a tackle very nicely. And we'll have a ball up right in front of us here in the broadcast position.
They had loose numbers on the far side of the ground, but too intent to play that defensive style of footy down this wing. If they'd switched, they were away.
Yeah, exactly.
So the umpire throws it up. Henderson, he won that easily. Knocked it down at the fall of the ball. Leg goes after it. He's been wrapped up and we'll have another bounce.
Care has been good this quarter, has been Van Dort around the ball. His hands have been clean.
It's been good, and Leg has been, he should be big, and I do apologise for that as the umpire throws the ball up now. Hands and knees. Seb Colakides nearly copped one in the back there by Jared Whitnish, the co-captain. The umpire said it was fair. So we'll have a bounce 60 metres out from the Mitcham goals. The umpire throws it up. Higginson over the back. No one really won that tap out. Henderson at the fall of the ball tries to bust his way through a tackle. He's wrapped up by James Quilty, and we'll have a bounce. Still in front of us here on the broadcast side. It's a ripper crowd out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. You know, both sides travel well. Boronia have been playing out here since 9 o'clock this morning as the kick goes inside forward 50 from Whitney. That was a good one too at the hot spot at the back of the pack of the fall. The ball was Bazinkas. Somehow he broke himself out of 2 tackles. Fantastic play, and he drives the ball out towards the wing position, but absolutely nobody was home. Inside forward 50 now. The kick goes from cross. Bouncing football. Who's going to be able to meet this? It was picked up there nicely by Pignataro over the top there. No, towards Pignataro now, I should say. Coming in there now to lend some support there is Hogel. He's been quiet. Kicks it to the top of the goal square, but nobody is home except for Faulkner, and he takes an easiest of marks about 20 metres out from goal, and there's argy-bargy happening all around the wing position, but a great mark has been taken by Anthony Faulkner at the edge of the square, and the umpire, I think, has been a little kind to him because he's opened his face up for goal quite nicely. Let's cross down boundary side very quickly, thanks to Akira and Kirk.
Yeah, and Jess Moore, he's just copped a yellow card and he's gone off for the blood rule. And
it all started when Jess Moore wouldn't let Robbie Petrarca off the ground without giving him a push, and Julian Petrarca came in and he's been sent off for helping out Rob.
Okay. Great stuff, our boundary riders, as Faulkner from point blank range, really. He had to kick hard of it, and he did, and he kicked it straight over the goal umpire's head for a goal. So on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, will Mitcham narrow the margin here back to 1 point here. It's a fantastic game we're seeing so far, Brett Davidson.
Yeah, and that's a goal against the run of play, really. Again, Boronia had the football, had it exactly where they wanted it, but have just not chosen the right options. They've had plenty of outside options on the far side, decided to come down the defensive wing, have made a few errors. Mitcham are interesting. I've been watching their forwards the last couple of minutes, and there's a lot of arguing going on amongst their forward line.
Okay.
Brett Davidson in special comments this afternoon with Peter Baird. Hope you enjoyed the call on 98.1 FM as we've got a restart in the middle, and David Seals on the bottom of that pack, and umpire Jason Herman will come in and ball this one up as we have a look at the Choose Tap and 9 News flags on the other side. Still favouring the right of your radio dial, so Mitcham kicking against that breeze in this term. A free hand pass comes out here. Vanessa got it back to Garrity for the Hawks, and they work that out nicely. Colakides feigns the kick and goes inside forward 50. It's a shank, but it might work okay for Heath. The ball comes to the ground now. McKernan around the body, needs a kind bounce, doesn't get the kind bounce. It hits the behind post, and it goes out of bounds, so it'll be tossed back in on that outer side.
And again, you know, lowering of the eyes. Colakides didn't see Bazinskis out wide by himself, blazed forward. If he'd lowered his eyes, he would have gone sideways, and Bazinskis had 35 in front of him.
Danger spot here for the Hawks as it comes in now. Big thump over the top there by Higginson. It might land in the arms of Wright. He's about 40 metres out from goal, but seeing it over the line. The Tigers there on that other side. Chris Meldon will go for a boundary throw in. Braden Ingram stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
Pretty even at the moment. Inside 56 apiece, and effective tackles 7-4 in favour of Mitcham.
So a boundary throw will occur on that outer side. And all players wrapped up on that occasion. Umpire Tom Winlow comes in, wraps himself up.
That breeze actually looks a little bit stronger out there at the moment, and it seems to be pretty tricky. The players are having difficulty controlling the footy.
So umpires come in and once again wraps himself up. That's Tom Winlow on that either side. Just repeating the scores at quarter time around the grounds. It was Norwood leading by 13 points, I should say, at quarter time over South Croydon, and Ferntree Gully leading South Belgrave by 15 points. We'll hear from Andy Paolaci at half time, the Pie Shed half time show. as he's out there. And also we'll hear from Dan DC Sting Campbell, who's out at Norwood and South Croydon. In the meantime, the Tigers have won themselves a free kick. It's Nick Higginson who's won the free kick from the back pocket. He goes out wide looking for Morris on that occasion. Thumped away from him. The ball still stays in play. Goldsmith got a hand pass over the top to right. He can send this one back inside 50 for the Hawks. A deep kick inside looking for Heath. Punched away from him though on that occasion by Johnson. And it trickles over the line and will be tossed back in 30 metres out from goal.
Once again, David, a long kick looking for Heath again. They're very, very predictable the way they move the ball forward, and they're almost like unwilling to lower their eyes and look for a lateral option to try and break it up a little bit.
Yes, it could be the downfall, but they're playing some much better footy this quarter.
Andriatta just sumps it out of his defensive 50. He punched it probably about 30 metres further forward, so they've been able to get outside their defensive 50 here, and will be a boundary throw in as Mitch Wright sees it over the line. Hope you're enjoying the call on 98.1 FM. Stay tuned, as I said beforehand, for the Pie Shed halftime show. We'll be chatting to Andy at Walker Park and Dan at Jubilee Park. As Grice, beautifully done from the contest. Got a hand pass at the Van Dort. Rushes the kick inside, forward 50. Bouncing ball will go over the line and out of bounds. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, we've played 15 minutes in this second term. Boronia 4-6-30. Mitcham 4-5-29. Here's Ben Warren-Smith.
Just waiting for the umpire to bring the ball back in. Does so now. Goldsmith will go up against Higginson. Flyer at the back won the knockout. Quick kick out there by Johnson. Went to no avail because Wright's come in to take a mark. Will swing around now. Kick up towards true centre half forward all by himself was Dean Grice. He thought he'd already taken it. It got a handball away. Lucky Pat Garrity was there to lend support. He kicks it to the top of the goal square. It's a 3-on-2 situation. Almost taken there on the chest by Heath. But coming in Johnson, he wanted the safety of the behind and he rushed it through. So on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Boronia moved to 21. They're still trailing by 8 points as Mitcham still have hold of this game. Sorry, they lead it by 2 points, I should say. So the ball goes out towards the right direction. Little trickle over the boundary line. It's a little bit annoying when you've been working with electronic scoreboards for the last couple of weeks, Ben Waterworth, and we turn back to the old school time today. So as the umpire to bring the ball back in, 16 minutes gone here in this second term. Boronia get the knockdown by McKernan, straight over the boundary line and out of bounds again.
You don't know old school time. I can still remember when they were drawing them up on the numbers each.
500 coaching games later, that doesn't surprise me at all.
I remember heading out.
It's great to be here with you, Dave.
Yeah, no, thanks for that.
Umpire throws it in now. It was Whitnish that went up in the ruck contest. We'll give that one to him, Braden, as the umpires paid a free kick, and it'll go the way of Moore at the bottom of the pack. We might actually have a shot here. In fact, it's Dean Grice who will have a shot from about 55 metres out from goal. So a little bit of stagnant play here over the last 5 minutes here as the shot by Boronia we're waiting for. The short option's on. Well, I'm not too sure if that was too much of a set play, but Williams has taken the mark 55 metres out. Sorry, it's Faulkner.
No, McKernan.
I'll get it right. Third time lucky.
I still like that option. I think that's better than just bombing it forward because he's now within range.
Well, a hop, skip and a jump there by McKernan, and it's a nice looking kick off the boot. Does it have the legs to come back? Yeah, well, it went straight, but it went through for one behind. So on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it's back out to a 3-point lead for the Boronia Football Club. They are 4-8-32. Mitcham are 4-5-29. Let's cross down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Gav Casey.
Yeah, just noticed Rob Petrarca back on the ground, and interesting to note that probably his physicality on Dean Grice is probably what started everything.
Thanks very much to Gav Casey. Good to have Gav on the boundary with Corey Hall. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care today. The kick comes out here for the Tigers. Clever little paddle along. Was looking for Jackson Glossop, but the boundary line beat him. Right in front of the 9 News and Yarra Valley Water flags. Beautifully erected by Mark Freeman, commercial manager of the Eastern Football League on that outer side there. It'll be tossed back in. Almost true settling position on that outer side.
You'll have a straw with that.
Higginson comes up, thumps it further forward, but straight down to Bolton. Bolton drives it high inside forward 50. Miller's in position A. Heath came from behind. He came late. It spills to Lockie Watson. From the boundary line, can he dribble it through? Lockie Watson, he can't. It dribbles through for a minor score to the near side and through for another behind for Boronia. They go on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard to 4-9-33. Mitcham are 4-5-29. We've played 18 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Well, Johnson nearly ran all the way to the centre half back and kicked it up towards the half forward line. Going in that time where was Faulkner. Didn't get a favourable bounce. Coming in there was Williams for Boronia. He paddled it out. That was okay. Looking for Dean Grice and nearly copped one high again. The umpire said we'll have a bounce. Centre half forward now for the Mitcham Football Club. They'd like to get their noses back in front at half-time. Going up for it on his own there was Dean Grice and took it out and banged it on his boot up towards the half-forward line, picked up there by Quilty. He sent the ball back into that same direction, but nobody went up for it except for Mark Williams for Boronia, and he pulls it down.
It's a bit of real stalemate at the moment, isn't it? It's just both sides are really struggling once they get it into their half-forward lines.
Goldsmith was by himself in the middle, as was his partner in crime in McKernan. Coming in there was Goldsmith, ended up taking it, got it out. Lockie Watson, can he be clever enough now on the left boot inside forward 50? Nicely chopped off there by Quilty.
At least I don't mind that option that he chose. It was just a good chop off by Quilty.
Quilty finds Andreetta, screaming for players to come up from the wing position. I don't know who he was talking to because he kicked it straight out towards the Van Dort direction. Couldn't quite pull the mark in. So now Mitcham at the fall of the ball have the numbers. Driving the ball up towards centre half forward. Pignataro's in the front spot here. He needs to have good jukes. He had one bite at it, but it was knocked away from him by Shannon Bainbridge. And we'll have a boundary throw in 50 metres out now from the Mitcham goal line.
Mitcham player down behind play as well, looks in a bit of trouble.
20 minutes gone here in the second term. Just reached time on as the umpire throws the ball in. Morris goes up in against Williams that time in the ruck, and Williams won it. Got the knockdown, and Boronia send the kick out towards the wing position, but it was intended for Lockie Watson, but it went over the boundary line out of bounds on the full, and he's just having a little bit to say to the umpire here, not believing that it did carry, but the umpire has the rules the roost.
Braden Ingram, some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
Yeah, at the moment the clearances, Boronia are actually even 10 all between the two sides, and the inside 50's 11-7 in favour of Boronia.
Well, the kick went inside forward 50, and Andreetta had the front spot, and he had the safety and the protection of Steve Pym right behind him, who's still on the deck, mind you. So the shot on goal will be for the Mitcham Football Club, Jared Andreetta. He's kicked 3 goals for the season, so he's not familiar with the big sticks, but he is a good kick. Comes in now, caresses the 50, and that is a nice looking kick off the boot. A big fly over the back by Pignataro. I think he might have pulled this one down, and the umpire said yes, he has. So Johnny Pignataro, right on the behind line, has taken the mark. He'll have a very acute angle to kick from.
Maybe today's the day we see pigs fly.
So Johnny Pignataro, 40 goals for the season.
They're not back 5 metres.
No way.
Hogel's trying to create a little bit of a shepherd. Hardy's right there on the mark. Pignataro now runs around. That's a beautiful looking kick over the goal umpire's head. That is classy play. That's a goal on the board to the Mitcham Football Club, and they get their noses back in front by 2 points out here on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It is 35 playing 33, Brett Davidson.
Yeah, look, I think Pigs is probably the most dangerous forward in the game at the moment. He's the one that's marking up the ground, and that was dangerous. I've got a funny feeling that ball came off his hands into the post and back into his hands. Just a funny feeling, that one.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Gav Casey.
Just an injury report for Mitcham. Jackson Glossop was helped by 2 trainers straight to the dressing rooms, and it looks like it's a right ankle injury.
Great work, Gav Casey. All over it thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Speaking of all over it, here's Dean Grice. He gets the clearance. He goes up towards the half-forward line, looking for Jordan Vaness. Went over his head, and he now sees it over the boundary line and out of bounds. Let's cross back down boundary side because Corey Hall wants some limelight. Hello, Corey.
Hello, Ben. Just quickly, the interchange. Once again, it's Boronia's on about 17 at the moment, and Mitcham saving their legs a little bit, only on 11.
Thanks very much to Corey Hall. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Right in the boundary very nicely. Umpires pulled out a free kick, and it will be going the way of the Tigers.
Notice he didn't say substitutions there.
No, he's all over it, Corey. Good work, mate. As he goes up looking for Faulkner, juggles it and takes a strong mark right in front of the Bendigo Bank scoreboard on that outer side. Faulkner now will play on immediately. Goes up towards the half-forward line. Pignataro's in front. Ball comes to ground now in favour of the Hawks. Mark Hardy runs through the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve and goes up towards the half-forward line. The kick is a shank, and it trickles over the boundary line and out of bounds. 50 metres out from Boronia's goal.
And this has been the one difference that I've seen between both these sides and a Wanturna South, is that the use of the football of Wanturna South is very, very good. Here, we're missing so many targets. Could be the conditions, but something they've really got to improve.
Colakiti snaps it around the body and goes inside forward 50. Josh Allison got a big bounce. Jason Heath, big man, came through. It frees up Mark Hardy. The coach goes in and looks to put it through, but it's off to the right-hand side.
Shocker.
And through for another minus score for Boronia. 4-10-34 the Hawks. Mitcham 5-5-35 in this second term. We've played 23.5 minutes Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
As he's done all day, Johnson played it to himself and kicked it out towards the wing position going after it. Turcarelli couldn't take it, so Pat Garrity was there there to mop up for Boronia. Got it back to Henderson. Got a short pass on to Bolton. Now inside forward 50. The kick goes for Boronia. It goes to the hot spot. The big fly at the back by Heath. He almost pulled it down too. At the fall of the ball, nice little handball out there. Comes towards Quilty. And now the Tigers have the numbers across the half-back line. Nice little kick out towards the cross direction, but chopping off, and Mark Hardy takes the mark 50 metres out from goal. And having a look at him here, he looks like he might go back and have a ping.
No hope of making the distance here. Seen a lot of Mark Hardy. Seen a lot of his 393 games. He's no hope of kicking this distance.
Well, he knows it's an important kick, doesn't he? Because they currently trail one behind the Boronia Football Club. Mark Hardy sets sail for goal. It was a nice kick off the boot, and he made the journey quite easily, Frosty Bear, but he pushed it through for one behind. So scores level out here in the semi-final, Division 3 Choose Tap final. Mitcham and Boronia all square.
They don't want to rue this, all these points, Boronia, because they've kicked a few this quarter.
Nice kick out from Johnson. Found Whitnish and Truce in half back, but Whitnish didn't see Jordan Begg from behind. He might still have time to recover, Whitnish. He tried to keep his feet. He got a hand pass off to Searle, but Begg was very clever. Get a little tap over the top. Big contest there between Van Dort. Van Dort now tries to work it out, but it's gone over the boundary line and out of bounds. David Searle was his opponent, who Van Dort went in very hard on that occasion, but it trickles over the line here on the Aaron Bailey wing at Vermont Recreation Reserve. It'll be tossed back in. Boronia 4-11-35, Mitcham 5-5-35. Scores are level, but Boronia with 5 more scoring shots. Henderson went up as a third man, then got a second tap beautifully over the top to Josh Allison. Allison can run to 50 metres out from goal, but Davo, guess what? That's not another behind, another missed opportunity for goal, in fact. It goes out of bounds on the full.
The one thing I'm noticing is that Boronia are being very physical at the moment. Heath's been incredibly physical up in that forward half. The one concern with Mitcham has been for a number of years, they don't like it.
I was just going to ask you, Davo, has that physical pressure and that physicality and tackling pressure caused Mitcham to go into their shells a little bit and not take the game on like they did in the first 10, 15 minutes?
I think they're it's affecting their judgment on what they're trying to do at the moment. So, yeah, look, I think it has had an impact, and Boronia like this sort of contest.
Just around the grounds, Connor Ryan tweeting that it might be starting to get away from South Croydon. They trail by 35 points, 18-minute mark of the second term, 9-8 plays 4-3. So David Searle's got it in the left back pocket for the Tigers. He'll go towards the wing position. Morris will fly from the side, from behind. Also, the Hawks had numbers at the back of the pack. Good tackle applied. Falls on the hands of Faulkner. Pins over the top. He tries to mark that one. He's got a player over the top in Tercerelli if he can find him. Great defensive pressure, though, from Rutherford. He kept his feet, but now falls to Tercerelli. He's got a player inboard. The kick fell short, and Dean Grice was there. Faulkner was all by himself, but the kick just didn't have the legs in the end, and Grice is in the right place at the right time, and it's freed up the Hawks in this outer side. He's a good young player in Mitch Wright, only 19 years of age. The helmeted one goes in towards the middle of the ground. Beautiful kick as well. Strong mark taken by McKernan, who's presenting well. He plays on quickly. Vaness will fly from behind. He couldn't quite take the mark. Comes to ground now. Heath still a chance. He's got Begg for support. Clever kick, though, from Heath. Vaness dropped what he probably should have taken. Bazinska's always got a high tackle. Doesn't matter. He picked the ball up, and he missed. Another kick goes out of bounds on the full. Boronia can't buy a goal at Vermont.
Just rushing it a little bit, aren't they? There's not enough talk around the ball there for them to come out. And again, bring the ball down the wing. They had an opportunity to do an overlap, and one of the Boronia players took his player into the space, just not thinking.
Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap.
This quarter, inside 50s Boronia 17-9.
So Johnson spots up Whitnish across the half-back line. Nunziato comes out and takes a mark in front of Henderson. Hot to trot, kicks it in towards the middle of the ground. It was a decent enough kick. He was looking for Melder at the fall of the ball. Hardy got the handball away to Grice, who squeezed to kick up towards half forward, where he finds Allison. He arches it back, touches the ball on the ground, gets a little handball away to right. Cute on the left foot. That's a nice looking pass. And he spots up Lockie Watson in the forward pocket, about 25 metres out from goal.
Much better than from Boronia, and it was all because of Dean Grice's vision there to send it out wide.
Well, Watson has found Josh Allison, who was all by himself. In fact, Mark Williams stole it from Allison, but the umpire said no. Got to go back over your mark, young fella. So Lockie Watson, who's played every game this season, has kicked 27 goals for the year. He's silly not to have a shot here. He just pokes at it, kicks it across the face of goal. He never really gave it a chance, did he? He wasn't confident in his approach, and over it goes for a minor score out here. 28 minutes here in the second term, and it's a 1-point lead to Boronia, 4-12-36, Mitcham 5-5-35.
Another opportunity, though, to lower your eyes. Bazinska standing by himself in the forward 50, didn't look for him. So it's you've got to do that when you've got those shots.
Ball comes out here to half-back for the Tigers. Mark taken by Searle. Frosty will be happy to know at the half-time break. At half-time in the Division 4 match, normal services have resumed. South Belgrave 7-10-52 lead. Ferntree Gully 3-5-23 will cross to Andy Paolaci at half-time. But here at Vermont Recreation Reserve, it's Boronia 4-12-36. They're doing it in behinds here in the Choose Tap Division 3 first semi-final. Mitcham 5-5-35. 2 goals to Steve Pym. Both came in that first term. 1 to Searle, Faulkner and Pignataro for Mitcham and for Boronia.
I thought their clearance work was very, very good. And look, they started to play a bit better football into their forward half. Mitcham just looked to lose their way a little bit in that quarter, and they need to regroup again, and hopefully they need to get some of their midfielders on top. They need to nullify Grice a little bit, but not going one-on-one on him, just try and not let him get some easy ball.
Well, it's 1 point in the margin and we're underway in the second term, and Melda went up. He won the tap down and hit the deck straight away. The umpire might let this ball go. Julian Petrarca back on the ground, couldn't quite scoot it out. Goldsmith comes in, the big ruckman. He got wrapped up in a tackle, and we'll have a bounce right in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. So we're only 20 minutes into this third term. The umpire restarts the game. Melda had the front spot, so he got the knockdown. Dean Grice put his head over the ball. The umpire said it was fair. Petrarca scrambled to kick out. Bazinkas, he picked the ball up, got it away to Garrity. He scooted a handball out wide. That was okay. Now Boronia up towards the half-forward line. Watson had 3 players to beat at the back of the pack. There is Miller. He was quick enough to get the little handball away. A series of handballs by Mitcham put themselves under a lot of pressure, and then the kick was banged up towards the centre half-forward line. Bolton created the spoil. Coming in there for Bazinkas. He got the little handball away, and the scrambling kick goes into the middle of the ground again. The big man Melda picked it up for Mitcham, kicked it up towards the half-forward line. It's scrappy football at the start of this term as Pym comes out. He couldn't quite get a handle on the ball. Rutherford got the handball away. Pym laid a tackle, and we'll have a boundary throw in 50 metres out from the Mitcham goals.
One of the things I did notice when I went outside, that wind is very, very strong outside. It really is so much stronger than what I thought.
I would agree with that. I was down at ground level, so Mitcham would be wanting to go into this last term with a little bit of a handy lead as Leeson on the left boot. Winds around. Melda went up there for the Tigers, got 1 bite on it, couldn't quite pull down the mark, but the kick goes inside forward. 50 standing strong and taking a good mark is Jess Moore. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Gav Casey.
Yeah, Ben, I just want to add with the wind, it's very gusty, so I think it's not helping control of the kicks and judgment.
Melda takes the mark from that kick. He's just inside the centre square. He could have nearly got a 25-metre penalty there as he bangs it on his right boot. Inside forward 50 now. It looks like a sea of Hawks out there at the fall of the ball. Faulkner might be able to pick it up for the Tigers. He does so. He's quickly wrapped up in a tackle by Moore and friends. So we'll have a boundary throw in about 30 metres out from goal.
I think what they've got to try and do, both sides, is when they're going forward now, instead of going long, because it is so hard to mark, be patient, hold it up, try and get a couple of shorts in.
Well, Morris went up in the ruck that time for the Mitcham Tigers, and we'll have another stoppage. 2.5 minutes gone here in the third term. There's been no score. It's 4-12-36 Boronia. They lead it by 1 solitary point. 5-5-35 is the Mitcham Football Club as the umpire threw the ball up. He's plucked out a free kick. It'll be advantage paid here to the Hawks through Bolton. He winds around and kicks it up towards the wing position. That was good play. Running after the ball and getting tackled there was Williams, and he was pinged as well. And it'll be a free kick to Mitcham. As the umpire said, it was advantage paid. Basically, all play had stopped as the kick goes up towards the middle of the ground. It's taken there by Quilty. Inside forward 50, he goes. That wasn't the greatest of kicks, and it's been chopped off by Mark Williams. Almost in the back pocket for Boronia. Sends the ball out wide. That was a beautiful looking kick. Not able to pull it in there was Lockie McKernan, and it goes over the boundary line out of bounds on the full. So you can tell, even by the flags on the far side of the ground, that this wind is playing havoc as Mitcham go forward. Once again, going up for it was Moore. Couldn't quite pull it down. Allison got a little handball away to Grice. He was wrapped up by Andre Edo, and we'll have a ball up about 45 metres out from goal.
I think Moore's actually playing loose across half back at the moment.
Goldsmith went up against Morris. A quick kick up by Mitcham to the top of the goal square. Who's going to be in position A? Good fist away by Rutherford to force the behind, and it goes over for that solitary point. So Boronia on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they level the scores out here, and it is 4-12-36 playing 5-6-36.
So they'll bring it out. Luke Allison on the half-back flank up towards the wing position. Moore was there, went past him. Jordan Begg pounces on the footy, couldn't quite keep it in. David Searle sees it over the line and out of bounds. Right in front of the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap.
In the first 3 minutes, Boronia had 6 inside 50s.
So They'll be looking to try and get another one here, Braden, as the ball's tossed back in on that outer side. Big Goldsmith, though, for Boronia. Just dumps it further forward, about 20 metres forward, and it goes over the line and out of bounds. Just repeating those scores is... repeating those scores from around the grounds. Norwood are currently leading South Croydon very, very comfortably at half-time. 81 plays 28, and South Belgrade 52 leads Ferntree Gully 23 as the ball finds its way into the hands of the Hawks here. They'll look to move this one forward. Hand pass comes out towards Hardy, but he handballed it straight to Whitnish. Must have been a colourblind on that occasion, the old Foss, 41 years old. He goes back, it's taken here by Luke Allison. He tries to hand pass further afield, ends up with Garrity. This is all at the half-back flank. He was swung in a tackle. He handballed it over the line and out of bounds.
Deliberate out-of-bounds free kick.
Peter Baird.
Deliberate.
Picking it up there as the ball goes inside 50. Bolton going back with courage. Ends up though with Jess Moore. Here's that man, loose man in defence that Brett Davidson was talking about. Mitch Wright's has come on the ground. Lockie Watson will look to try and free him out. Wright, Lusley the Shepherd. Nice teamwork there by the 19 and 20-year-old. Watson now has to go back to go forward. He was nicely corralled though by Halstead Wild. Wright goes back and gets it. Goes to Heath. He's got a free player at truce and a half forward, and they work it out between them. They'll get a free kick. Will the Hawks going in a little crude on that occasion was the big man in Chris Melder. And the Hawks will receive a free kick. It'll be big Bill Goldsmith, and he'll go back. He will handball it now off to Bolton. He loves his position. Jess Bolton unloads from downtown. Great kick from Jess Bolton. He kicks his second, the first multiple goal for the Hawks today. And Boronia extend their lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We have played 5.5 minutes. Mitcham go on 5-6-36. Boronia 5-12-42.
And that's a clever way of doing it, because what that does is it stops the Mitcham players from getting back quickly to clog everything up. Little handball off. And look, they're playing good football at the moment, Boronia, and Mitcham have got to find something. They're all over the ground. They're just losing their way.
By throws the ball up again. That time we'll give that to Henderson. Mitcham got the slight clearance, but it's a great tackle there by Moore to lay it. But the umpire said play on. Ball scoots out towards the half-forward line for Mitcham. Scrambly little kick out towards the Andreetta direction. Couldn't quite pick up the pill. Umpire will eventually come in and bounce it just inside the centre square on the member side here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. 6.5 minutes gone here in the third term. It is a 6-point margin. And it is the way of the Hawks. A big fist that time away there by Melder. They might get away with this nicely here through Julian Petrarca. Mitcham, a scrambly kick up forward. He wanted Faulkner, but didn't go out of bounds on the full. They'll have a boundary throw in about 40 metres out from goal, but Faulkner was a long way out on the lead there, so they'll be disappointed they didn't spot up the target.
In the first quarter, that kick would have gone to the hot spot there and created an opportunity for Pig Notaro and Steve Pym as well. So just starting to doubt themselves in the style of footy they want to play now, Mitcham.
Henderson over the top of his head. Hardy smacked up by Faulkner. This might have squeezed its way through. That is fantastic play off one step in a pack as well. He kicks his second goal for the afternoon, and a handy one at that too for the Mitcham Football Club, and they scoot away now by only one solitary goal, but it's a very important one, Brett Davidson.
Oh, it certainly is, but I just noticed, like, apart from 2 or 3 players, they didn't get that excited over that goal. It's something that, you know, the body language around for Mitcham is not as good as what I would have expected. So
no players running towards?
No, there was 2 around him. They just went and gave him the high five, but that was it. They really need to get some energy.
So the ball back in the middle here. Can the Tigers try and answer with 2 goals in a row? Something they certainly did at the start of the game, but struggled to do it since. As umpire Jason Herman balls it up again in the middle of the ground. Moore comes through. He's lifted at the start of this term. He tries to find Colakeys. He's immediately wrapped up. Another ball up will occur in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve. All square in the first semi-final. Boronia and Mitcham 42 apiece. The Hawks get the clearance and they go inside 450. Grice got a bad bounce. It might work out okay for Heath though. Nicely read though by big Daniel Johnson. Great work from the defender. Got a hand pass back to Halstead Wild. His searching kick out wide was very nice. And the mark's being taken by Trev Batchelor.
They would be very disappointed, Boronia, there. That was an opportunity to really hold the ball in, and they let it out far too easily.
Batchelor's kick was a shank off the boot, and standing in the hole was Jess Moore. Had a mountain of footy to start this third term. You'll play on quickly. A high left foot kick up towards half forward. Standing in the front there was Melder. It's swept upon by Grice. He got a hand pass over the top to Williams. He's tucked up in the boundary. He does the team thing. Goes to Watson. Nice ball, though, from Johnson in the end. And Mitcham will look to bring it across the half-back line. That's an inaccurate kick, though. Bounce suits Andrietta. He sees it over the line and out of bounds with Jordan Begg right in front of the Boronia coaching box there.
thanks to EFL Game Development Manager Aaron Bailey, brings some refreshments up for us. Not only is the wing out here named after him, but he obviously got a bit of pull, getting some drinks for us
He's
as well.
very kind man. And it comes to Watson here. Lockie Watson into the open goal. He'll stroll in and kick it. Listen to the fans of Boronia. They're up and about here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. They hit the front by 6 goals. There's some passion and excitement for you, Brett Davidson. Mitcham 42, Boronia 48, 6-12, plays 6-6.
And look, and that is something that's a bit of a difference, is the body language between the two groups. And, you know, it looks like Boronia have got a little bit of spark about themselves. They're getting it out of the middle. They've been a bit unpredictable up forward now, which is really good. So, you know, at the moment, it's their way, and Mitcham have got to find some way to get out of it at the moment.
Couple of changes for the Boronia Football Club. Higginson came on for the Tigers, didn't even go up in the ruck then, so Henderson got the knockdown and the kick goes up towards the Watson direction once again. He's got Vanessa by himself. He's also got Bazinkas there. Can he take it 20 metres out from goal? He had one bite, the little chop of the shoulders the umpire said was fair. Quilty on hands and knees. He's wrapped up in a tackle and will have a bounce 25 metres out from goal.
Just showed too much of it to the Mitcham defenders there in that kick. It was the right option to try and spot up Bazinskis. Just too high and allowed the Mitcham defenders to get back and cut it off.
Higginson got the knockdown that time, and it came down to Johnson, who banged it on his boot in towards the middle of the ground. A bouncing football. It's going here, there and everywhere. Favoured Miller in the end. He went after it. He dropped the pill. The umpire probably should have pinged him for that one. Going in after it again. And eventually we have a bounce as Allison picks himself up the ground. We're almost across the half-forward line for Mitcham. Ripper clash we've got out here. It's the Hawks by a goal. There's a kick now by Morris inside forward 50, and it's a good one to the top of the goal square. And Pignataro was in position A and told his man on the mark all about it as well as he took that mark. It's a difficult spot. He's 20 metres out from goal, but he's on a very acute angle and he's on the wrong side for a right footer. And
this will really hurt Boronia if he kicks this, because Boronia have controlled the game, and Mitcham are just hanging in there by, you know, some scrambly play, but it's being effective at this very moment if he kicks it.
Pignataro, well, he wanted to kick hard at it. It was the right way to go about things, but it was an absolute shocker off the boot, and
like 20 metres.
We'll have a boundary throw in about 20 metres out. He's kicked it. It's grazed the man on the mark, so it was touched, even though it went over the boundary line. So we'll have on the opposite forward pocket, it'll be Goldsmith to go up against Steve Pym. Goldsmith got the knockdown to Moore. That was good play. Little handball out to Leeson. He had to work his way through traffic. Andreatta came in from Mitcham. That was good play, and then eventually laid a tackle, and we'll have a bounce about 45 metres out from the Mitcham goal line. 11.5 minutes gone. Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap.
Mitcham 11 tackles laid to 5 in this third term.
Going at that time as was Goldsmith. He got the knockdown. Colakides couldn't quite get boot to ball, and we'll have another stoppage.
Boronia got to be careful here. Mitcham have built a wall of 6, and Boronia have to get someone out there to cut that off.
Umpire throws it out. It's on the 50-metre line. Vaness was dispossessed when he didn't have the football. That doesn't even make sense, but he wins the free kick. So on the right boot now, kicks it up towards the wing position. He wanted the lead of Heath, who's the only man out there. There's no one behind him for the Boronia Football Club, and right near that Bendigo Bank scoreboard, the ball sailed over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full. It's a 6-point lead to Boronia at this stage. Mitcham kicking with the breeze in this third term. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern as the ball goes long. It was well done there by Allison to get a little handball out. Charging through there, Andreatta got the handball out. Steve Pym banks it on his boot. This might have the carry to the goal line, and it was eventually fisted through. It was a good old ruse, a fair dinkum crack, and over she goes for one behind. So Mitcham narrow the margin back to 5 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 13-minute mark.
So Bolton, as he has done all day, kicks to himself, goes out towards the right back pocket and unloads towards the wing. A big kick. Goldsmith and Higginson are there. The standing tall, a big strong mark by Morris in the end. Big Ben Morris playing sort of across a wing half forward kind of role today. Normally you find him deep, but there's a fair few deep forwards to Mitcham in that forward line at the moment. Morris goes towards the half-forward line. Miller almost took the mark, trying to claim it there, the Hawks. They couldn't quite. Comes out to Andreatta. He's got a few Hawks for company. Begg lays a couple of tackles there nicely. Bazinskis tries to go in and win it. Picked up very nicely there by Rob Petrarca. He's immediately set upon by Lockie McKernan, and it'll be balled up 60 metres out from Mitcham's goal. 6-12-48, the Hawks. Mitcham 6-7-43. A 5-point ball game in the semi-final. Sudden death, do or die. The loser is out. The winner will play Doncaster in the preliminary final next week.
Have a look at this Boronia press. Every player's in Mitcham's half of the ground here, really locking the ball in, stopping any free space that Mitcham have potentially got.
Umpire Jacob Carroll just assesses the situation and throws the ball up. Josh Allison came up, won the footy down, went straight down to Halstead Wild. He goes towards the half-forward line. Great mark taken by Searle. He should have stopped. He played on. He put Morris under a lot of pressure, and it might prove costly. Leeson got a little hand pass over the top to right. Bolton's off and running off half-back. He goes up towards the half-forward line, but it is all Daniel Johnson back here for the Tigers. He goes with a really weird kick, but it worked out in the end okay. Mark taken by Julian Petrarca, centre square. He goes up towards true centre half-forward. Pignataro's at the back, but standing in front is Miller. Good strong mark by Miller, about 50 metres out from goal, and he can look to go back and put through another goal for the Tigers, and this will put them in front. In fact, it's Batchelor.
You know, and that's just an opportunity there missed by Boronia. They had the ball, they had it clear, but again, if you're going to play that press, you've got to have people pushing up really hard, and they didn't have anyone.
Get on your bike and go back and do the hard work going the other way.
Yeah.
So Trevor Batchelor, been a really improved player for the Tigers from all reports this year. He'll kick from 55 metres. A big thumping left foot ball from Batchelor goes through. Big kick from Trevor Batchelor. Big goal. The Tigers hit the lead by a point at Vermont Recreation Reserve. They go on to 7-7-49. Boronia 6-12-48. 15 minutes gone in the Choose Tap semi-final.
Yeah, well, look, it's a good goal to get. That's 2 in a row. They need to get another one. They get another one, and suddenly they might get on a roll. But it seems to be that breeze really has got up, because that was a long kick.
I think we underestimated the actual importance and the factor it's playing in the game out there, Davo. We've seen both teams kick a couple more goals towards that end of the ground every time they've kicked there.
And we've seen it's been very hard defensively to get the ball out.
The inside 50s would reflect that probably in the second quarter, and this term, boys, is 12-5 this quarter in favour of Mitcham.
Braden Ingram doing a great job thanks to Choose Tap stats this afternoon as the umpire throws the ball back up. No one got a clear knockout there, but Grice came in to win the clearance, kicked it up towards the half-forward line. Coming out there was Vaness. He got fouled upon. He went after the ball and he got down low, and he was rewarded with the free kick, and he's 45 metres out from goal. He doesn't look too confident. Had a couple of quick options on, but quickly goes back over the man on his mark.
There's just been a couple of clumsy times in defence for Mitcham where they've given away free kicks they probably haven't needed to, just by being a bit overzealous.
So Vaness, he's looked like he's wanted to give it away for the last 30 seconds. He may as well just have a shot on goal. It's a wobbly kick towards the goal line, and it goes through for one behind. So scores level once again out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. It is 49 apiece on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Certainly is, as the Tigers will look to bring it in. Through Johnson, kicks to himself and goes high out on the outer wing there. Big pack forms. Umpire said play on. There's a couple of players fell down. Comes out here to Julian Petrarca, working a telephone box. Gets a hand pass to Miller. He was set upon. Umpire calling play on. Crosses in there as well. And we will see a ball up on that outer side. 80 metres out from Boronia's goal.
We're approaching time on in the third quarter now, Davo. Scores are level. How much does that result going down in extra time in a final last year? Does that start to play on Mitcham's mind heading into the last term?
I don't think they'd be thinking of it at all, to be honest. It's only if it does happen that they'll probably remember it.
Umpire Jason Herman has pulled out a free kick for a hold, and it will go the way of the Tigers. It'll go to Big Nick Higginson now at half-back. Squeezes a kick along the wing. It's a pretty good kick from Big Man. Mark taken here by Petrarca, Julian Petrarca. Left foot kick high inside 50. Pims there, one-on-one. The big man couldn't quite bring it in with the one duke. He's pretty good at ground level. Good tackle applied there by Rutherford. Bainbridge now out of defence. Handballs it almost deliberately out of bounds. Umpire says it's a free, to be a boundary throw in. Umpire Jacob Carroll. So it'll be tossed back in. About 30 metres around from Mitcham's goal. Scores are level, 49 apiece in the Division 3 Choose Tap first semi-final. Goldsmith got the tap down, couldn't quite find a teammate quickly. Umpire Jacob Carroll hovers, and he crosses himself and says, give it to me, fellas. Ball up will occur about 25 metres out from goal. Jacob Carroll just saying he wants a bit of limelight here, and he tells Dean Grice to settle down, and it trickles over the line once again from the boundary throwing. Around the grounds, just repeating those scores at half-time in the Division 1. It was Norwood leading South Croydon 81-28 and South Belgrave leading Ferntree Gully 52-23. The ball comes in now for both teams, and Jacob Carroll again hovers, and Jacob Carroll again crosses himself.
Mitcham just need to get the ball out of this pack. They just need to clear it somehow, because they've got plenty of players around the outside.
Ball up occurs now. Miller went up in the ruck, taken with one hand by Dean Grice, and he spun out of trouble. That is a beautiful piece of play. His kick was rushed in the end, though, but it might find touch. It's probably a win for the Hawks in the end. Higginson sees it over the line and out of bounds, right in front of the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, which reads Boronia 6-13-49, Mitcham 7-7-49. We've played 20 minutes in the third term.
Mark Hardy would be pretty happy with this result at this very moment, and Scott Homewood would want at least another 2 goals before the end of the quarter.
Well, Goldsmith got the knockdown. It came out to Watson, got a little handball away to Williams, who kicked it up towards the half-forward line, bouncing football away from Heath that time. Mitcham have the numbers to mop up across the back. Hold Steve Wild got the handball back to Johnson. He has a bounce now. He might even go for 2. Instead, he kicks it in towards the middle of the ground. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Boronia have the numbers at the back of the pack. Pignataro, he went to ground, couldn't quite pull the ball up. It'll come out to Moore now eventually for Boronia. He has time on the left boot. He has players also across the half-forward line in Watson. Hasn't he been fantastic today? Gets a handball away to Bolton, kicks the ball to the top of the goal square. That is a fantastic kick towards Heath, except the wind just carried it, and it went over his head and just hit out of bounds on the full. So Mitcham will be quick to bring the ball back in here. Now it's Whitnish on the left boot, kicks it up towards the half-forward line. That is a nice looking kick, and once again the wind at the last second sends it over the boundary line and out of bounds as Daniel Tercerelli was after it. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to our boundary riders who look like they're lying on sunbeds. Corey Hall.
Yeah, it's pretty relaxed down here on the ground, not so much around the crowd. But just quickly, the interchange, Boronia is on about 16 and Mitcham's on about 11. It looks like it's becoming more tiresome to come off than actually stay on the ground.
Well, it was well done by Melder, got it across to Quilty. They go inboard now, nice handball across. The kicker goes on ball by Stevens as he put that one through on the left boot. That is a fantastic kick. Mitcham, fantastic goal there against probably, well, under a lot of pressure there moving forward. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it is still a very tight tussle out here.
Well, look, that's really disappointing for Boronia because you've got a situation where they had the football, they were going into the goal area, they've turned it over, and they'd also be disappointed because they had a clearance situation down in their back half. They were outnumbered, and that's unusual for Boronia to be outnumbered in clearances.
Might have been Batchelor or Whitnish who kicked that because Stevens clearly isn't playing, but I did see a 6, Ben Waterworth.
Well, we'll work on that one as Andriatta comes off the square and is immediately wrapped up by Big Bill Goldsmith, and umpire Tom Winlow will come in and ball this one up in the middle of Vermont Recreation Reserve with the Tigers in front by 1 straight kick. 21 minutes gone in this third term. Comes to Andriatta, beautifully done. Got a hand pass over the top towards Taylor, but it was sharked here by Whitnish. A high kick inside, forward 50. Which way will it bounce? Pim's underneath this one. Try to tap it towards his advantage. Only taps it towards the advantage of Leeson, but Pim gets a good bounce on this occasion. He gets it over the top to Batchelor. He turns his man inside out. Left foot kick is very nice off the boot. Fantastic bit of play. And Renato Nunziato has taken the mark 45 metres out directly in front.
You love it.
I don't know how many times he's probably had a shot for goal, but
Not many.
I reckon he could get excited if he kicks this.
He hasn't kicked a goal all season, Renato Nunziato. From 50 metres out, the big Italian goes bang! Forza Italia! Renato Nunziato puts it through. His first goal for the 2013 season. And Mitcham are back out to a 2-goal lead. They go on to 9-7-61. Boronia are 6-13-49. We've played 22 and a half minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Well, he's a bit like the Godfather then, wasn't he? Just walked around, strolled around, giving the high fives and just waltzed back to his spot. So, no, very, very good goal, that one, and clever play from Batchelor. Probably one of the best plays of the day, I'd say, with that lovely turn and a perfectly weighted kick.
And I like that move from Scott Homewood, sending Nunziato down there as well. That extra bigger body down there is just creating a few more problems.
Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap.
Hit-outs 15 all very even at the moment. As of the clearances, 9 leading Boronia 6, and the inside 50 16-6. Mitcham leading those comfortably.
So we have another stoppage as Henderson went after it. He'll go up in the ruck again. Melder got the knockdown that time. Moore goes after it nice and hard. Mitcham might have the numbers out here. Andrea to force the spoil there. Coming through was Petrarca. Got the little handball across the top. Coming in there was Garrity. He rode the tackle. That was a good ride, and you'd expect nothing less from the captain there. Scoots out towards right. Got a little handball on towards Dean Grice. He needs the silky skills here. It needs to pay dividends. He put himself under a lot of pressure in the end. He just wanted people to present, and Jason Heath comes out and takes a ripper mark. 45 metres out from goal. They've got players all alone across the half-forward line. Mark Hardy, the Silver Fox, put the goal through, and he certainly does there. The coach. Fantastic reply by the Boronia Football Club. We have certainly got a game on our hands out here in the semi-final in Division 3 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Boronia moved to 7 goals, 13-55. It's back to 1 goal. Mitcham 9-7-61.
Well, that just shows the class of Grice, doesn't it? He did not have a single option down the ground. He held the ball, popped it up into a dangerous position. It was a nice shepherd out there. And then Heath, for the first time, got back, looked sideways. Bang, there was the coach, and away he went.
So the Tigers will go inside forward 50. Pin came out and tried to take a big mark on the chest. It might bounce favorably here for Nunziato. He's got one. He's getting a little greedy now. Snap from the pig around the body. Just off to the left-hand side. Johnny Pignatara on that occasion goes through for a minor score for the Tigers. 9-8-62. Boronia. That's Mitcham. And Boronia on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard going to 7-13-55. 7-point ball game here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. Norwood by 6 goals. They've come back a little bit Southport in that term, but Norwood currently leading by 6 goals midway through the third term. Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap.
Boronia have really converted their opportunities in this third term. Only 7 inside 50s, kicked 3 goals compared to Mitcham's 16 inside 50s for only 4 goals.
Well, Watson to get a favourable bounce on the wing, but it doesn't matter because here comes Matty Bazinkas inside forward 50. Finds Van Dort. He'll go inside and he'll slam it through for 2 in a row for the Boronia Football Club. And have we certainly got a game on our hands now. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard is Boronia 8 goals, 13-61. It's only a 1-point ball game out here. Mitcham 9-8-62. We've got 25 and a half minutes gone in the premiership quarter of the third term.
Yeah, look, and Mitcham there had the 2-goal break. Boronia have come back with 2 very good goals, and that was just a great, again, that slingshot play, long ball, running forward, very, very clever hands from Bazinskas. He's been good. I really like his run and carry today, Bazinskas. And there's a little bit of to-do after that, and that's not a bad thing either at this time. Amazing how many goals get kicked in the last 5 minutes of a quarter.
They're going after it again too as the kick scrambles up towards the half-forward line. Van Dorter went through his arms. Johnson, he had a little toe poke, and that was a handy one too because Mitcham were able to get the clearing kick out towards the Petrarca direction. Boronia, though, had the numbers at the fall of the ball. Here's Mark Hardy. He might link up a teammate here in Watson. In fact, at that time, it was his teammate in Josh Ellison. Went back to Hardy, put himself under a lot of pressure. Chris Hogan, where have you been all afternoon? Finally got a handball in the middle of the ground. Nicely picked up there by Pignataro. Handball over the top there. They've got the numbers here in Holstein Wild. Leg kicks it out on the left boot out towards the Faulkner direction. He couldn't quite pull it in, so Holstein Wild picks up his own ball, has to turn himself in a 360 direction, kicks around the body, got pushed after he got rid of it, so I think he might receive a free kick. Back was where the kick was done.
So Halstead Wild on that outer wing.
That's a clever free kick. It allows Boronia to all run back and clog us up.
We'll go up towards the half-forward line. Big fly over the top from Williams. Has he held the mark? He has.
And in front.
Or is a man in front? So good mark from Mark Williams in the end, who's gone back and taken a saving mark for the Hawks.
Mark Hardy would be pretty happy about the fact that he's taken that mark because he made a terrible blue in front of us.
So long kick out towards the wing. Moore comes out and takes an uncontested mark in the end. And Moore can go. He goes up towards the half-forward line. Van Dort leads the race, but it's all Mitcham back there. And they'll look to rebound off their defensive 50 now, will the Tigers. The kick in board is pretty good in the end, and it works for Andriata. He's got a player over the top in Big Nick Higginson. In fact, it's not that man. It's Batchelor goes inside forward 50. The snapper and the body will come from Searle. Nunziato, in fact, it is. Oh, you can't keep the Italian man down. He's booted to Renato. And Mitcham are back out to a 1-goal lead. Goal for goal at Vermont Recreation Reserve. The Tigers go on to 10-8-68. Boronia 8-13-61. 28 minutes gone, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Well, that's the 5th goal in the last 7 minutes. So
game's starting to open up a little bit. That press actually takes its toll on players when you're trying to play it. It's hard work to flood back the other way.
Mentally
as well.
tough. Yeah.
And the other thing is that it's a warm day too. So
It's crossed down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Gavin Casey.
Just boundary side for Mitcham. Rob Petrarca's getting his left knee looked at. It looks like it might be jarred.
Nunziato's moved himself into defence now as well. Wants to stem the flow. Don't want Boronia to get another goal late in the quarter.
Just does what he wants.
Well, Andreetta took it from the stoppage in the middle of the ground and tried to bustle his way through a tackle, but the umpire said we'll have a bounce.
it's actually a smart move, that one.
So Henderson went up in the ruck. He got the knockdown. It was a kick forward there by Batchelor, inside forward 50. Who's going to be the flyer at the back of the pack? Moore was there. So too was Allison. He got the knock on coming through there to lend some support there. Was that man in Tercerelli. Swings around on the right boot, inside forward 50. And coming in very hard, Pignataro. That was a little bit too crude and a good mark taken by Leeson for the Boronia Hawks. He might receive 25 metres here, and he does. So it'll bring him up to just in front of the centre-half back line, and there's not long to go in this quarter. It's 29 minutes gone, and the closest way to go home is straight down the middle as the siren goes out here at three-quarter time. And what a game we have out at Vermont Recreation Reserve. It is a 7-point lead to the Mitcham Football Club, who had the breeze, the slight breeze in that third term, and they lead at 10-8-68. Boronia are 8-13-61. It's going to be an absolute epic last quarter.
It certainly will. 2 to Pin, 2 to Faulkner, 2 to Nunziato for Mitcham, and 1 to Searle, Batchelor and Pignataro. And for Boronia, 2 to Bolton, 1 to Henderson, Bazinskis, Heath and the Silver Fox, Mark Hardy. Don't go anywhere, because we have got a big final term set for EFL Gameday.
The ball as Boronia have the wind, but they reckon they can catch them out on the rebound run and the run over opposition all year. They're the best fourth quarter team in the comp, they reckon.
Well, let's the ball's back in the middle. We're set for a start in this final term. Julian Petrarca went in hard, tried to extract the footy, but he's got a man by the name of Dean Grice on his hammer, and he forces another ball up. We were just saying off air beforehand, gents, that the umpires today done a magnificent job. Umpire Jason Herman. He's balls that one up in the middle. It comes down to David Searle, though, and he goes high inside forward 50. Morris is there. Jess Moore leads in the race, though. The ball went past him. Pouncing on this one is Chris Hogle. Can he pick it up cleanly? He might not be able to, though. Boronia tried to work this one out, and they were calm under the pressure there. Bainbridge's kick out wide wasn't great in the end. Nicely done by Tercerelli to thump that one over the line and out of bounds. Braden Ingram for Choose Tap.
So at three-quarter time clearance is Mitcham leading them comfortably 24-14. The inside 50s there pretty tight as well. 45-40 in favour of Mitcham. Effective tackles 39 Mitcham. Boronia 28.
So Goldsmith from that boundary throw in to stump it straight back over the line and out of bounds. Not in the full, because that would have been a free kick. But it'll be tossed back in 70 metres around from Mitcham's goal. They lead by 7 points. They're set for a great finish here on EFL Gameday. Don't go anywhere as the ball comes out here to Van Dort for Boronia. His high kick up towards the half-forward line, went straight out of bounds on the full. And female there in that salmon shirt certainly got a faceful from that footy on that occasion. As Quilty now works it across that half-back line. He's nicely held up here by Vaness. Of course, the coach skipper this year, James Quilty, playing promptly down back. Goes out wide for Daniel Johnson. His kick didn't work for Johnson at all, but he was able to gather and go up towards the wing position. Tercerelli needs to go. He does and takes a great mark, and he's off and running. A look kick inside 50. Pignataro's one-on-one! Pignataro takes the mark, 40 metres out directly in front. This is when the Pig is at his best on the limelight. Let's see if he can go back and put this one through.
And that is exactly what he's very good at. His one-on-one body work is extremely good.
Pignataro directly in front to put the Tigers in front by 13 points. It's a shank off the boot and off to the left. Mitcham 10-9-69, lead Boronia 8-13-61. 2 minutes gone. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, fourth quarter. Gav Casey for Akira Urgent
Just
Care.
want to add that Scott Homewood said that because they're going to isolate, Pignataro's got a mismatch, so they're going to isolate with him out of the goal square.
Bolton has it across the half-back line, drives the ball up towards the wing position. Heath had the front spot at the fall. The ball there was Van Dort, swings around on the left boot. Henderson might be the player to run after this one for the Hawk. Going after it there was Quilty, got a little handball away to Nunziato. Right on his hammer there is Mark Hardy. Nunziato rode the tackle, but handballed it straight into the arms of Dean Grice, who sets the ball inside forward 50 to Watson, who was all by himself. 40 metres out from goal. Players running into an open goal, and it's going to be kicked by Beck from point-blank range. Fantastic goal there by the Boronia Football Club. And it's exactly what they needed to just reduce this margin back to a solitary 2 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They moved to 9 goals, 13-67. Mitcham at 10-9-69.
And that's a 12-point turnaround. Have a shot, 25 out, miss it, shank it, bring the ball down the other end. That really hurts when that occurs, especially start of the last quarter.
But how about that vision from Dean Grice? Didn't waste time, go back and allow the Mitcham defenders to flood back. Saw his man in space, moved the ball on, hit his target, and was able to set up that goal for Boronia.
And by Jacob Carroll, back in the middle, throws the ball up, and the players go at it once again. Merging with the footy is Grice. Gets a hand pass over the top to that goal kicker in Begg. The young man picks the ball up and boots it forward, looking for Watson. Grice is out there again. He's just everywhere, Dean Grice. He spears the ball inside 50. He is just a superstar, Dean Grice. He's everywhere. And he finds Jason Heath on the lead, 30 metres out from goal.
He just doesn't waste the possession, Davo. That's probably one of his strengths as a footballer, that he uses every ball he gets and makes the opposition pay.
And not only that, but he doesn't get any easy ball. Every ball he gets, he earns, because as soon as he's got rid of it, he gets stumped, and when he gets it, he gets stumped, and he's been a class today.
Jason Heath is the man with the footy on this occasion, though. He's kicked 1 goal today so far. This for his second, and to put the Hawks in front. Kick is on its way, and it's through! Jason Heath kicks his second, and the faithful are up and about at Vermont Recreation Reserve. The Hawks now lead by 5 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Mitcham 10-8-68. Boronia 10-13-73. 4.5 minutes gone.
Really interesting
Next 5
changes
minutes.
there, yeah, because Grice and Begg have both come off for a bit of a breather. Let's see what happens. They need to get clearance ball here, Boronia, and with Bazinskis and Van Dort in there, could be a chance.
Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap.
Having kicked 4-12 in the first half, Boronia have turned it around and kicked 6-1 in this second half.
Well, Watson had it from the kick in. He kicked it inside forward 50, looking for Heath once again, but ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full.
Almost right on cue. It was Bazinskis there that got that centre clearance that you call for, Davo, but he's gone down after kicking it. Can't afford to lose him at this point in the game.
Now, he had a bit of an ankle problem just before three-quarter time.
Watson got a little handball to Van Dort, back to Watson. He might be able to put this one through. It's a high ball. It floats and it floats and it sails through for one behind. So, well, all points are very vital at this stage in the game, isn't it? Especially when it's a close affair on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. The margin is stretched out to 5 points for Boronia. 10-14-74. Mitcham 10-9-69.
And Bazinskis off and Grice comes back on. Bazinskis has troubled a little bit.
Three-quarter time at Jubilee Park. Norwood 16-12, 108. Lead South Court 11-5, 71. So the Dogs have half the margin, but they're still a fair way behind. Let's quickly cross down to Corey Hall, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, just quickly, Bazinskis has come up. It looks like he's limping a little bit. Looks like his ankle.
So the ball found the way in the arms of Dean Grice. And from 50 metres out, he looks to centre the ball. Heath's there, takes them up. But a free kick, I think, might have been paid against him, though, for Johnson for a illegal holding there. So Johnson will be the recipient of that free kick. So at Vermont Recreation Reserve, it's Boronia 10-14-74, leading Mitcham 10-9-69. Johnson brings it out towards the wing position. Bounce favours the Tigers. They're off and running through the middle. Henrietta spears the ball inside 50 towards the Pim. Pim now picks it up 50 metres out from goal. His hand pass was too slick on that occasion for Hogle. Garrity cops a high tackle. He's got players around him to play to advantage. Moore picks it up and it goes with a little left foot ball out wide to Mitch Wright. The 19-year-old tucks the ball on the arm and away he goes. He gets a hand pass over the top to Josh Allison. Back out board to Van Dort. He centres the ball towards the middle. Heath couldn't quite get there. He spoilt the ball. Going back with courage. Magnificent effort by Aaron Miller on that occasion. Forces the boundary throw in 20 metres out from goal.
I tell you what, I love that from Heath. I love the way he attacks the football. He just stops players from thinking about getting in front of him. And that's what you want to do as a big key forward, and he does it very, very well.
Back into play, 20 metres out from Mitcham's goal. Henderson went up in the ruck, got it down to Kolakidis. He feeds out a hand pass towards Van Dort. Hardy's in there as well. The ball's just taken away from him, though, by Searle. And he's immediately wrapped up. Umpire Jason Herman crosses himself. Ball up, 40 metres out from Mitcham's goal.
One thing Mark Hardy's teams have been prided on over the years, they're very fit. He trains them really hard. This is where it could come to the fore in this last quarter.
Ball comes back in towards the middle here for Mitcham. It's a poor hand pass, but Batchelor made it work. He got a little hand pass over the top towards Julian Petrarca. Beautiful work by the Silver Fox Hardy. Hardy, I should say, kept the ball alive. At the edge of the centre square, we'll see a ball up. Mitcham trail by 5 points.
He did a really good job then, Hardy. It was a smart play, and look, Boronia are starting to use the ball a little bit better. Their hands have been a lot better.
McKern from the contest dribbles the ball inside forward 50, kicks for touch, and he found the 40-20 line. If you're a rugby league fan, in the right forward pocket, it'll be tossed back in about 30 metres out from the Boronia goal.
This is when all those kilometres you do pre-seasons come to the fore, Davo, when that fitness really plays a part. A hard, tough game that last 15 minutes of the year potentially on the line. You need to run it out well.
Especially when you haven't played in weather like this for a long, long time. So, it is important that you keep the rotations going and you get your fittest players around the ball as much as you possibly can.
If we get extra time today, boys, any chance we put Frosty into the commentary box again? Just
No.
give him another chance to do a bit extra time special work?
Negatives. Oh, boys, come on.
So the ball comes back in now. Henderson and Higginson went up. Higginson got the tap down, bunched it about 30 metres forward. Colakides on hands and knees, though, did pretty well. Fed out a hand pass, but it was inaccurate. Comes to Halstead Wild, this way then that way. Eventually ran out of bounds, and it'll be tossed back in right in front of the 9 News and Choose Tap flags on that outer side. Let's go down to Corey Hall, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, Bazinskis, he's got his left calf strapped and he's coming back on.
Abai brings the ball back in. Henderson over the back of the pack, went through Allison's arms, came out to Quilty, banged it on his boot up towards the wing position. Mitcham need a favourable bounce. The ball just stopped in its tracks. Allison of the Luke variety paddled it to his advantage, came in with Seb Colakides back to Allison, got boot to ball somehow. It's travelled probably 25 metres up the boundary line, almost taken the mark. There was Batchelor, scooped upon by Wright, squeezed up a spot there for Henderson, sold some candy, got to 55 metres out, kicked the ball inside forward 50, and Nunziato was the man that was in front and takes a telling mark for the Mitcham side.
Ruckman should never try and dodge and leave.
So Nunziato, usually a beautiful kick of the football, heads out wide looking for Morris.
Needs to put his body on the line more, Ben Morris. Unfortunately, I've said it so many times before, a bloke that's 6'6", built like Tarzan, needs to absolutely take that body contact and really work hard. But just doesn't seem to be prepared to do it in the last couple of weeks.
So we've gone 10 minutes here in the final term. It's a 5-point ball game. Boronia lead this one over the back of the pack. Colakides came in, he broke a tackle, rode the bump and then snapped it around the body up towards centre half forward. Bouncing football over the top there of Dean Grice's head. His number there in cross, went after the football, got a little handball away. Grice comes back after it again on the left boot, kicks the ball inside forward 50. Nobody's home, so a boundary throw-in would be the best result, and it bounces favourably for him and goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
That was a great tackle and chase then by Jason Heath, and really made the Mitcham defenders earn that possession again, caused the turnover, and has locked that ball inside their forward 50 once again.
And it was unusual because Grice had Begg inside the 50 by himself. He just miskicked it.
30 metres out from the Mitcham goal line, from the Boronia goal line, I should say, is Nunziato. Banged it out of that danger zone into the middle of the ground. Faulkner was going after it. Scooped upon there by Colakides. He got boot to ball, but the umpire called play on because it went straight up in the air. Now Mitcham are away as they kick up towards the half-forward line. Turcarelli there. He needs to get a favourable bounce. Going in very hard was Bainbridge. He copped one a little bit high, but the umpire said it was fair, and we will have a bounce about 45 metres out now from the Mitcham goals. The umpire quick to throw it up, no one went after it, so Henderson came in, got a little handball away to Garrity, kicks it up towards the wing position, nice mark taken out there by Allison. That is the Josh variety, squeeze to kick up towards the half forward line, taking off there was Faulkner, rode the bump, kicked the ball inside forward, 50 players all alone there at the back of the pack. Matty Bazinskas couldn't go after it, Higginson, the big ruckman, he lopes after it, Van Dork got it back to Bazinskas, got a little handball away, Dean Grice slumps his position and he slams it home. What a telling goal at this time in the match. Fantastic play by the Boronia Football Club. It wasn't clean the whole way down the ground, but they got the job done.
Well, look, I was going to talk about it a while ago, but gee, hasn't young Wright been really good out on that wing in the last quarter and a half? He's been outstanding with his vision's been really good. He's gone away from that long kick. He's looked inside. Hands have been good. Bazinskas good. Grice, he has just stood up and dominated this quarter, and so's Colakides in the middle. I thought his clearance work's been excellent in the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Ball back in the middle. Whitnish might have something to say that for Mitcham. He spears it inside 50 towards Pignataro. Tried to use his body. Needs the ball to sit up. Pignataro does now. Round the body goes the Pig. Just off to the left-hand side. Still in play. Pim keeps it in. Clever little Wayne Harms tap. Back to Faulkner. Pignataro's going to mark in the pocket. Lucks a fortune. Pignataro, right place, right time. Swings around the left boot. Kicks the goal. Johnny Pignataro kicks his second, and Mitcham get the quick reply. Boronia on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 11-14-80. Mitcham go on to 11-9-75. We've played 13 minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
And that's what Mitcham need. They need people like Whitnish to start to get involved in the game, and that was a great clearance work from him. So, you know, fortune favours the brave, I suppose, there with Piggy, who's in the right spot at the right time and capitalised.
Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap.
Boronia letting the clearances 8-6, also letting the inside 50s 10-5.
Cross kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Pat Garrity, the skipper, stands strong. Couldn't quite take the mark, but was good enough at ground level to get the handball away to Williams, who in turn gets it across to Mark Hardy. He lost his footing, got back up, got the little handball away, and they've squeezed a kick out towards the right direction, who certainly has come alive in this game. Well, he tricked everybody, ran around in a 360, wound around on the left boot, kicked it up towards the half-forward line. Nunziato stands strong. He takes the mark away to Whitnish on the left boot, up towards the half-forward line now for Mitcham. You've got to play in front, and a super mark has been taken across the half-forward line. I think that is Chris Hogle. Finally, he's taken something. He's presented across the half-forward line. He's an exciting player. He broke around the man on the mark, and he kicked it to the top of the goal square where Rutherford was standing with another man right beside him. So wanted to get amongst it there was Hogels. Rutherford clears the ball out now towards the centre half back situation. Man in front has been paid the mark here. That is, well, that's a bit Lux of fortune there, Brett Davidson.
Yeah, look, I don't think he had hands on it at all. He tried to mark it, but the Mitcham bloke certainly took that.
Well, it was Williams who took the mark for Boronia, and he drove the ball up towards the wing position. High flyers go up. The umpires paid a free kick, and I think it's against Jason Heath on this occasion, and it is. So it'll go to Big Nick Higginson.
He's been good in the last 10 minutes. He's actually given him something in the ruck.
Not afraid to certainly go after it either. Higginson, as he gets a handball away to Johnson. Sold some candy, then kicked the ball inside forward 50. It's a sea of Hawks. Got it away. Pim around the body. Which way's this one going to bounce for Steve Pim? He got the rocket he was after. That is a sensational kick.
Look at the
and have a
celebration.
look at him celebrate that one. Mitcham, fantastic goal there, and they regain the lead out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 15-minute mark of the final term. It is a one-point ball game. Mitcham 12 goals, 9-81. Lead Boronia 11-14, 80.
And we talked about the fact that it's Mitcham's forwards that are the danger, and that they've taken every opportunity that's come down there this quarter. So it's now to see whether Boronia can recover. Who's going to get the swing now?
I reckon it's Higginson in the ruck that's made the difference for him in the last 5 minutes, so he's given him plenty of drive.
Ball back in the middle here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. Boronia through Begg on top of that one. We'll see a secondary ball up. Magnificent contest at Vermont Recreation Reserve. Do or die for both sides. The loser is out. The winner goes for another week.
Ooh.
Finesse, big body there on that. He's a Mitcham opponent there, but Nunziato picks it up and cleans up at halfback. He gets the sweeping hand pass over the top to Quilty. He sweeps it out over the top to Halstead while he drills it up towards the half-forward line. Williams is one-on-one with Morris. The ball falls behind both those players. Moore got a really unaccommodating pounce, but was very strong in that occasion. Got a little hand pass over the top to Garrity. Ripping tackle by Batchelor on the outer side. In fact, it was Tercerelli on that occasion who applied that tackle. Forces the ball over the line and out of bounds. 80 metres out from the Mitcham goal.
So they've got Moore playing loose in one defensive area and Nunziano playing the other one.
Goldsmith went up on the ruck, tapped it down, cross went in hard. Ball comes though to a Boronia. Grice once again at the fall of it. Sweep the little hand pass over the top to Bazinskis. The Buzz is off and running. Left foot kick inside forward 50 to absolutely no one. Nunziato, that loose man, had a pillar of time to pick it up, but actually went out of bounds. So probably a win for the Hawks in the end.
It's a smart kick. It actually puts it into the thing, allows Boronia to reset and get numbers back around the ball. They had nobody down there. Nunziato was all on his own. Almost a kick to touch you see in rugby league.
Found the 40-20 Frosty as it'll be tossed back in 30 metres out from goal. Goldsmith went up in the ruck against Melder. Quilty's there. Grice from the impossible angle centres the ball towards the top of the goal square. Who's going to be there for the Hawks? Nunziato leads the race for Mitcham. He'll be wanting the boundary line, but it's picked up here by the Hawks. Heath centres the ball towards centre half forward. Ripping kick. McKernan marks.
Henderson.
In fact, it is Henderson. Ryan Henderson will go back from 40 metres out directly in front and look to put the Hawks back in front.
And again, you know, in these situations, it's that experienced, smart head that really is important. And you saw it earlier with the way that Pim was able to score that goal. You see it now with Heath getting that ball, steadying, didn't blaze, centred it up beautifully.
Even that long kick into the vacant forward line from Bazinskis as well. Didn't panic and didn't just blaze away and kick it to Nunziato.
Ryan Henderson has already kicked one goal today. This is a big one from 50 metres out. The crowd will tell the story. It's quiet. It's a behind. Scores are level again.
Don't tell me Mitcham in another drawn final. Don't tell me.
12-9-81 the Tigers. Boronia go on to 11-15-81. We're all tied up with 17 and a half minutes gone in the fourth term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So Johnson to bring the ball back in now. Elects to go to the members' side. Andreatta's the target there. Henderson over the top. Might have given away a free kick. Well, the umpire said it was for holding, so I didn't quite see what that was for. Andreatta got the little handball away. The kick was smothered. It was intended for Petrarca, but they might have the numbers here. Andreatta once again gets the handball to go backwards. They're mucking around with a little bit cross, but picked up in a tackle. He might be pinged here. Great tackle there by Henderson, the big man, getting down low, and we'll have a bounce about 55 metres out from goal. Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap.
Mitcham putting their head over in the final term, leading the free kicks 5-1.
Just outside the centre square here.
What do you do in this situation, Brett Davidson? Do you roll the dice and try and win the game?
I think you've got to at the moment. So you've got probably 6 or 7 minutes.
By threw it up. It was nicely done there by Begg. Got the little handball out towards the Hardy direction. He went in hard, and the umpire said we'll have another bounce. Almost in the true centre position here of Vermont Recreation Reserve. You can really feel the crowd getting amongst this. Lots of colour out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. The winner goes through. The loser has the pre-season to think about it as the umpire throws it up. And once again, we have another stoppage. It's going to be very tough football as we cross down boundary side, thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Corey Hall.
Yeah, again, high interchange for Boronia. They've already got 20. I've only counted 7 for Mitcham this quarter.
We've almost reached time on in this final term, and he scores level. Henderson got the little knockdown. He wanted Allison, couldn't quite get it. Went after it again. Henderson is certainly putting his body on the line in the last 10 minutes or so.
Is it time to send Nunziato forward? It worked for them in the third quarter, kicked a couple of goals, or do you leave him there as the rock in defence?
He's gone forward now.
It's been taken there by Hardy. A little handball over the top. They might link up well. Assaults of candy. Dean Grice, you're a class play. Put it through, but he can't do it. He pushes it to the left-hand side, and a minor score is the result on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Boronia, they have the lead now. 11 goals, 16-82. Lead Mitcham, 12 goals, 9-81.
You would have expected him to nail that, but look, it could end up being a handy point. They've just got to make sure that they keep the ball in the area now, because you can tell that Mitcham will go long.
The old handy point.
Even coaches believe in the handy point. Magnificent stuff. Henderson takes an uncontested mark on the wing. He looked to move it quickly. He's got heaps of players inside forward 50. Is he blind? He can't see them. He drives the ball long inside 50. Heath is there. Ball comes to ground. Van Dort might try to pick this one up. It's gone out of bounds in the right forward pocket. Hawks by 1 point, 20 metres out from their own goal. This will be tossed back in. Do not go anywhere. Keep your radio dial locked on 98.1 FM. We're set for a thriller. Ball comes in now. Heath went up in the ruck, but Mitcham at the numbers. They might win a free kick for a push in the back. Umpire Jacob Carroll said play on. We'll see a ball up, 30 metres out, 25 metres out from the Boronia goal.
They've got to really use the wall here well, Boronia. Don't allow the Mitcham players to get in amongst it.
Heath got the tap down. Mitcham had the numbers here. Faulkner went up in hard. Beautifully picked up by Andreatta. Great tackle applied, though, by Mark Hardy. And it'll be a ball up edge of the centre square. True centre half forward position here for the Hawks.
Going 10, 20 metres there with the rolling ball, though, Mitcham.
Ball comes out now. Higginson got the tap down in the ruck. Boronia will be able to pick it up here. McKenzie, little chip around the body, looking for, in fact, it was McKenzie now trying to pick that ball up now. He had Halstead Wild for company. Halstead Wild, very, very smart on that occasion. Cross tries to pump his head over the footy there. Petrarca got a little hand pass off the Bachelor. Here comes Cross. Here come the Tigers. Pim and Pignataro. Well done, though, by Garrity. Going back with courage. The captain stands up and takes a strong mark for the Hawks. He'll look to move it on quickly out wide. Henderson finds himself free at left half back, and he takes a mark, defensive 50.
Jeez, he's been good.
I tell you what, Paddy Garrity may not have taken a more influential mark than that one for a long, long time.
Henderson goes on quickly and just holds the game up. He finds Josh Allison on the outer side. Allison goes inboard. He missed his target. Rutherford put under a bit of pressure, but he was equal to the task. He won himself a free kick for a high tackle.
Mitchell, we've got to find a man here. Man up. Don't let the Boronia players spread and get his ball out in space.
Rutherford goes to Brzezinski, I should say, on that outer wing. He goes up towards the half-forward line. Free kick going the way of Boronia. Will go the way of Heath against Daniel Johnson on that occasion. Left half forward.
They must score in this inside 50.
Got to kick it to the top of the square.
Got to get a score.
Mitcham have got plenty of numbers back. Bachelor standing in the hole at the moment. Heath will just bomb it towards the hot spot. Who's going to stand up? Watson will fly from behind couldn't quite take the mark. Miller was there, brought the ball to ground. Players converge on the football now, and umpire Tom Winlow
Watson's hurt out
give
there.
it to me. Let's cross down boundary side to Akira Urgent, thanks to Akira Urgent Care Causer.
Yeah, the atmosphere down here with a few minutes ago is absolutely electric. Let me just ask a quick question. Who's going to win this one?
Oh, Corey Hall with
Well, there you go.
some crowd participation here on our EFL Game Day. Great work, mate, as the ball comes out here.
Love it.
On the half-forward flank for Boronia. It'll be tossed back in 80 metres out from Boronia's goal. They lead this one 11-16-82. Mitcham 12-9-81. We've played 23 and a half minutes in the final term.
Noticed he was still lying down as he got that crowd reaction as well, Causer, as the umpire throws the ball back in now. Over the back there, the knock came from Melder, hits the deck. Paddling after it there was Cross, got a little handball backwards, that was okay, and they working their way through traffic. Blossom got a little handball away, picked up by Cross, handball over the top. Somehow they're getting themselves out of trouble here. Mitcham is still working the ball forward. Here's the big man inside forward 50, kick towards the Pignataro direction. Shannon Bainbridge nearly pulled it in with one arm, but Pignataro snaps around the body. You are kidding me! He slammed it home from an impossible angle. Johnny Pignataro slams it home, and all of a sudden Mitcham are back in front of this game. Sensational scenes out here at Vermont Recreation Reserve. Pignataro kicks his third, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it's a 5-point lead to
Boundary.
Mitcham as we cross the 24-minute mark in the final term. 13-9, 87 plays, 11 goals, 18-82. Let's cross down boundary side to Gab Casey, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Mitcham will push all numbers back, Pim being one of them. He's gone straight to centre-half back.
Yeah, and Nunziato, Pim and Nunziato, the two big men have gone straight back into defence. They're going to try and hang on from here, Mitcham.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. It was a hot football too, and they might get another chance out of here. Mitcham, kick goes forward. It's going to go to the top of the goal square. Can Pignataro be the hero again? Get him back there. He's making a solid mark there was Rutherford, and the umpire has paid it. He held on to it long enough. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, you couldn't write a better script. Enter Mark Hart. He's just coming on now. It could be a good finish here.
Well, they need one, and the short pass is on by Rutherford. That was very dangerous. Finds Allison. He needs to take off. Does so now. The shortest way home is to go down the middle, and he does that. Balance Van Dort. He's got players out wide. Guess who? D. Grice from 50 metres. By a three, D. Grice. He's pushed it to the left-hand side. You would not believe it. They had the chance to snatch the lead back, the Boronia Football Club. And at the 25-minute mark of the final term, it's a 4-point ball game. Mitcham 87, Boronia 83.
It's been a 7-goal final term. You'd expect it to go a couple more minutes yet.
Braden Ingram, thanks to Choose Tap. Johnson brings it in, finds Quilty in the back pocket. Quilty goes back to Johnson. He's 2 metres out from his defensive goal square. Johnson now fakes the kick, and instead going to the left, goes to the right. He's got a couple of players out wide, but Moore stands in the hole. Jess Moore will pump this one back inside forward 50. Van Dort is there, so is Hay. Daniel Johnson, new superstar. He has played a ripping game down back today. He marks last line of defence. That's a dangerous kick though. Bolton's in position A, marks. Jess Bolton marks 60 metres out from his own goal. He's called to go back on the mark.
Oh, give it to Heath.
Well, Van Dort's by himself in the pocket.
And he should have given it to Heath. Heath was running on his left side. Well, you've got to kick it now.
Bolton's got 2 goals today from 70 metres out. He starts it to the right. It's going to stay right. It's through for another minor score. Boronia with another behind. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, we've played 26 minutes in this final term. Mitcham 13-9-87, Boronia 11-18-84.
Scoreboard tells us less than 2 minutes remaining in this game.
Expect Mitcham to hold this ball up as much as they can. Let's cross down to Gab Casey, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
A lot of gesticulation. Actually, the Mitcham want the ball closer to the grandstand, and they keep going out to the outer side.
Well, the short pass has been on. Mark's been taken by Holstead Wild from the Johnson kick-in. Screaming for players to go out towards the wing position, and he sends it out there now. Moore came up for Boronia, allowed the spoil at the ball. There was right. It scoots out towards the Heath direction. Couldn't quite pull it out. Eventually, hands and knees. Morris is in there as well for Mitcham. Players screaming for holding the ball. The umpire might ping it here. Well done, Mitcham. That was a fantastic tackle. So they'll have the ball across the half-back line.
Less than a minute remaining in the game.
1 minute to go in this clash. They'll hold it up for as long as they possibly can. The kick goes up towards the half-forward line now for Mitcham. The big fly by Tercerelli. Couldn't quite pull the ball down. It hits ground level. Kick goes inside forward 50 now for Mitcham. That's exactly what they need, paddling towards the boundary line. Rutherford needs to keep the ball in. He needed the safety of the boundary line just as much. And it goes over, and we'll have a boundary throw in 40 metres
Mitcham
out.
at home. Mitcham at home.
Yeah, I think it might be hard to win from here.
What a
Big call, that.
umpire throws it in. Pim over the back. He gained a valuable 2 or 3 metres, and he got another boundary throw in, another
Happy with
stoppage.
it as well.
Have a listen to the crowd out here. 28 minutes gone in the final term, and it is a 3-point margin. It is the way of the Mitcham Football Club. Boronia have had the last 2 shots on goal, and they've missed him as the umpire throws it in. It sounded like the siren went because the crowd went bananas then, but the umpire said play on, kick up into no man's land. Andreina might have been able to pull this one down. Garrity goes out in after it again. Tercerelli tries to break himself through a tackle, got a throw out, and eventually went to Van Dorn. He got it out to Garrity. He kicks it along the wing, and now Boronia might have some numbers as they get the handball across. Allison, he's got one to beat. Whitnish is going after it. 2 fantastic stuff. The siren's gone out here. The crowd has run onto the ground. 1970 AFL style. The Mitcham Football Club progress next week. Fantastic win by them. It was a 3-point margin in the end. They got the last goal, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, the final scores 13-9-87. Mitcham, Boronia 11-18-84. What an epic clash this was as we crossed down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Gav Casey with a very happy Scott Homewood.
Immediate reaction, Scott.
Oh, that's an amazing feeling, mate. We were dead and gone with about 5 to go. The boys found something. A couple of those goals were something to remember. So it's a really good one.